Chapter 762. This reward is not bad, but I need a higher reward. This is not enough to satisfy me. Yun smiled faintly. Elder Bo and the rest narrowed their eyes. If the other party offered a higher reward, wouldn't they really hand over the water jade bead? You can't hand it over. Elder Bo shouted anxiously. He was filled with regret. He had let a wolf into the house. The queen and the rest were disappointed. They did not expect that the human who healed them would still be greedy. Bastard, to think that the princess trusted you so much. You actually... Fatty Hai was furious. The hand that he pointed at Yun was trembling. Lankingling stared at Yun with her beautiful blue eyes. She was confused as to why Yun would say such a thing. You shut up. It's his choice now. If you dare to make a move, don't blame me for being impolite. Cloud-chasing demon master pointed at Elder Bo and laughed at Yun. What is your request? Just tell me. As long as it's not too much, I can satisfy you. Cloud-chasing demon master laughed in his heart. He liked this kind of greedy human. He would agree on all the conditions first and then kill him later. Promises were bullsh** to him. It was normal to go back on his words after everything was settled. He did not expect things to go so smoothly. After getting the water jade bead so easily, he would definitely be a great hero. I'm not a greedy person. For example, I just want the lives of all of you here. I don't want much. I just want your lives. How about that? Yun smiled evilly. This bastard was from the evil spirit race. Even if he brought over a few high-grade god equipment, he would not hesitate for even half a second. The evil spirit race was so cruel. Even if he gave him something good, he would not be able to spend it. You! Cloud-chasing demon master was furious. He did not expect the other party to be playing with him. He did not intend to hand over the water jade bead from the start. I knew that, big brother, you would not ask for any reward. Lan Qingling laughed, and the others relaxed. They thought that Yun was really going to join them. But who would have thought that he was just toying with them? Yun tossed the water jade bead in his hand to the side, and it landed in Lan Qingling's hands just like that. He then said calmly, since it's yours, you have to hold on to it properly. Don't let anyone else take it so easily in the future. This thing was given back just like that, as though it was a piece of trash. It was given back to Lan Qingling just like that. This action caused the Empress and the others to falter. No matter how stupid they were, they should know just how valuable this treasure was. However, this human before them had given it back just like that, and there was not the slightest hint of reluctance in his expression. This didn't seem like an act at all. Big brothery, why aren't you leaving? They will kill you. Lan Qingling shouted anxiously. Didn't I say that I can deal with the Scarlet Demon Clan? I can deal with these pieces of trash in an instant. If you had listened to me, you wouldn't have run away from the beginning. Then, you wouldn't have had to fight like this. Yun shook his head. The Empress was instantly speechless. Wasn't this boasting a little too much? It was fine if he said it in front of his own people. At most, he would be criticized once or twice. But now, he said it in front of the enemy. Wasn't he afraid of angering the cloud-chasing demon master? Brat, I didn't expect you humans to be so arrogant. How dare you say such big words? You even dared to fool me just now. Very well, I will start with you. Cloud-chasing demon master said angrily. Call the scarlet demons outside in and clean this place up. Immediately, a guard rushed out and called for his companions to come in and help. However, not long after he went out, he immediately rushed back, and his face was pale. My lord, something bad has happened. The guard's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with terror as if he had seen a ghost. What happened? Didn't I tell you to call for help? Cloud-chasing demon master angrily slapped him, and the guard took a few steps back. Outside, the guards outside are all dead. The guard said in horror. What? All dead? Cloud-chasing demon master and the others shouted in horror. Even the Empress and the others were shocked. Could it be that the mermaid race has some kind of reinforcement? That's impossible. The other races can't even take care of themselves, so how could they help? Cloud-chasing demon master's expression was ugly. On the other hand, the Empress's situation was much better. They didn't know who came to help, but in short, It was a very good situation. There's no need to guess. They were all settled by me. It took a little time, E.T. Onion said calmly. The Scarlet Demon race, TSK, colluded with the evil spirit race and even moved Ascension Altar away. Let me go and check what exactly is going on. You did it? Everyone looked at him in shock. They really didn't believe it, thinking that he was boasting. All right, don't be so surprised. I'll spare your life. The rest can die now. E.T. Onion stretched out his hand and flicked. Pong, pong, pong. Sounds were heard. Everyone saw the bodies of the Scarlet Demon race explode, turning into clouds of blood mist. Not even a corpse was left. In the blink of an eye, not a single Scarlet Demon race was left, leaving only Cloud chasing Demon Master, isolated and helpless. This scene left everyone dumbfounded, and they were instantly dumbfounded. Just a little bit of power, and it immediately shocked everyone. Fatty High, who previously said that E.T. Onion was boasting, was now shocked speechless. What is called power? This is it. A group of Scarlet Demon race was easily taken care of in the blink of an eye. It was extremely easy. They all thought that E.T. Onion was boasting, but now it proved that he was not boasting at all. He had been telling the truth from the beginning, but they didn't believe him at all. His cultivation is so strong. The Empress and the others gasped, unable to wrap their heads around it. Big brother, he can really take care of them. No wonder it sounded like the truth to me. I should believe in my own feelings. Lan Xingling clapped her hands happily, feeling extremely happy. She could tell that what E.T. Onion said was the truth, but even her grandmother couldn't deal with it, so she couldn't believe it for a while. After all, telling the truth and being able to deal with it were two different things. For example, I could break through, this is the truth, but whether I can break through or not, this is another matter. It was the truth, but it didn't mean that it was effective. Now that he showed his hand, it was really a slap in the face. He had always been telling the truth, but they had always treated it as a lie. It was really melodramatic. If they really listened to E.T. Onion, they wouldn't be in a hurry. They would have stayed where they were and waited for E.T. Onion to go out and kill them all with a wave of his hand. It was just that they didn't believe it, and they didn't dare to believe it. If it was really boasting, who would bear the responsibility? Chapter 763. Killing all the Scarlet Beasts except for Cloud, chasing Monster Master in just a few moves. This kind of terrifying power was really shocking. And now that he had Cloud chasing Demon Master under control, Lin Fan did not even need Lan Xingling to lead the way. He was the only one who could do it. Furthermore, it was much more accurate than Lan Xingling's guidance, and they were able to pass through easily. Tell me about the current situation of the Scarlet Beast clan. E.T. Onion pointed his finger and signaled Cloud, chasing Monster Master, to tell him the current situation. He wasn't worried about the Mermaid clan. The Mermaid clan was a great hero, and they were on his side. The Scarlet Beast clan has joined forces with the Evil Spirit clan to conquer the entire sea region. They will constantly capture other clans to sacrifice to the old ancestor so that he can become stronger and unify the entire mortal realm. Then, he will unify the other two realms and become the world of the Evil Spirit clan. Cloud, chasing Demon Master, said it mechanically without missing a single word. He said it truthfully. The people on the side were dumbfounded. If it wasn't for the fact that E.T. Onion had killed so many Scarlet Beast clan members, they would have thought that it was a conversation between two friends. Otherwise, why would he reveal so much information? Immediately, E.T. Onion continued to ask other questions. He asked about everything, including the current situation of the Scarlet Beast clan. After asking clearly, he was very clear about the general situation. Just as he thought, the real mastermind was the Evil Spirit clan, not the Scarlet Beast clan. The Scarlet Beast clan was just an accomplice who wanted to dominate the entire sea region. The Evil Spirit clan had even infiltrated the upper echelons of the Scarlet Beast clan, so it was basically their own force. The original experts of the Scarlet Beast clan even acknowledged the Evil Spirit clan. How could they not help when there were benefits and top-notch martial arts? The mobile palace was created by the Evil Spirit clan. Their cultivation was amazing, at least at the Saint King stage. Logically speaking, It should be impossible for a Saint King stage expert to exist in the mortal realm. After he fixed the suppression divine rune, everything would return to how it was before. From the looks of it now, they should have a way to avoid the suppression. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such an astonishing powerhouse here. I didn't expect that there would be a fish that slipped through the net, and a very big one at that. Etienne's eyes were cold. He was curious as to what kind of power the Scarlet Demon Clan had to be able to move the Ascension Divine Altar. Without the strength of a Saint King stage or above, it was impossible to move it. Now, it seemed like this sea region was their paradise. A terrifying power was hiding here. It's possible that this region of the sea allowed them to avoid the suppression. Etienne made a simple guess. This sea region was a little strange, and it was very vast. With some tricks up his sleeve, he should be able to avoid the suppression. If they could really ignore all the suppression, they would have fallen long ago. This was the evil spirit race's Saint King stage powerhouse. Compared to them, who were only at the Spirit King stage, the evil spirit race's evil spirit race could easily crush them. But nothing happened. Everything was so peaceful. Thus, there was only one possibility. They didn't dare to leave the sea. It could even be said that they had just left the mountain not long ago. After all, the Ascension Divine Altar was moved a year ago, which proved that they had just left the mountain not long ago. So, they immediately spread their forces and dominated the sea region. After conquering the sea region, they could let other races kill them. Once they occupied the entire mortal world, the suppression would be broken, and the mortal world would immediately fall. After capturing Cloud chasing Monster Master, Etienne already knew most of the situation, but there were some deeper secrets that he still didn't know. For example, whether there were other evil spirit races forces or other conspiracies. These were all unknown. Only by killing them personally could he know everything. This evil spirit race and that Ascension Divine Altar, are they the foreign demon forces that the ancestor mentioned? The Empress asked when she saw that Etienne didn't ask any more questions. Yes, they are the foreign demon forces that infiltrated the major races to reproduce. Now that they moved the heaven-creating Divine King's Ascension Divine Altar to weaken the suppression, it's very likely that their old ancestor is hiding and doesn't dare to expose himself. Once exposed, they will be suppressed by the suppression and even suffer heavy injuries. This hidden force is basically above the Saint King stage. If we don't solve this problem, the races in this sea region will suffer a disaster. They are famous for devouring demons of other races. Apart from their own people, all other races will become their food. Not a single one will be spared. Etienne looked at them and said truthfully, "They have the right to know the truth." Saint King stage, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their old ancestor once had this cultivation, but now that they had declined, there was no Saint King stage cultivator left. The strongest cultivator was only at the Void Spirit stage. You are the companions of the heaven-creating Divine King. In theory, we are on the same side. It's just that your situation isn't very good now. If they send some strong experts over, you will definitely die. Etienne said solemnly. You better find a place to settle down. I will give you some resources to settle down. It's best to form a group with other races. On the same side? What is your real identity? The Empress couldn't help but ask. The descendant of the heaven-creating Divine King. Etienne said straightforwardly, "Greetings, young master." The Empress's face changed, and she hurriedly bowed down respectfully. "Greetings, young master." Everyone else bowed respectfully to Etienne. They are very respectful to him. Etienne was confused by the situation, but he quickly understood what was going on. "It seems like your old ancestor left some ancestral teachings?" Etienne said with a smile. "Yes, the old ancestor said that as long as you are the descendant of the heaven-creating Divine King, you will be our young master in the future." The Empress and the others didn't expect that the person they had been misunderstood would turn out to be the descendant of the heaven-creating Divine King, their future young master. However, they were absolutely convinced that the young master who had just saved their entire mermaid clan and possessed extremely powerful strength. Combining the two, they were truly convinced that Etienne was their young master. Otherwise, they really didn't want to admit that the old ancestors' teachings were useless. After all, that was built on the premise that he was trustworthy. If he came over to burn, kill, rob, or run away without even helping, he would be an idiot if he still addressed him as young master. So there's such a thing, then we are even more on the same side. Etionyan glanced at the crowd and immediately smiled. It seems that he can take over the sea area. Chapter 764. After the incident had calmed down, the Empress immediately gave orders to reorganize the mermaid race and arrange for the injured mermaids to rest. For now, there was no need to escape. With Etionyan here, all he needed to do was rest. I didn't expect you to be our young master. Lan Qingling's beautiful eyes flickered as she sized up Etionyan from head to toe. She then smiled and said, I really can't believe that the one who saved me is the young master. Lan Qingling circled around Etionyan, feeling that everything was so magical. Before this, she had thought that he was an enemy. But now, not only was he her benefactor, he was also her young master. The ancestors of the mermaid clan were really loyal to the heaven-creating divine king. They were even willing to pass down such ancestral teachings. It should be said that the ancestors knew how powerful the heaven-creating divine king was, and they believed that the successor would definitely not be bad. So if he followed them, he would definitely not be bad. The water jade bead was a gift from the heaven-creating divine king, and this alone was enough. The ancestor of the mermaid clan immediately knew that there would be meat to eat with the heaven-creating divine king. How could he not immediately curry favor with a middle-tier god artifact, just because he said so? However, it was not the heaven-creating divine king who could forge medium-grade divine weapons, but the sky-sealing divine king. The king of the heavens was a creator-level blacksmith. The heaven-creating divine king had asked the king of the heavens to help forge it. I didn't think of that either. Etionyan smiled. He also didn't think that such a thing would happen. He didn't expect that the mermaid race would trust the heaven-creating divine king so much. Then, young master, when will you set off for the Scarlet Demon Clan? Lan Qingling asked worriedly. Yes, I'm ready. I'll be heading over after making some arrangements. Etionyan nodded his head. The mermaid clan needed to discuss their plans. They didn't need their help to kill their way into the Scarlet Goblin clan. Etionyan was enough. What he needed was a detailed plan from the mermaid race. He needed the mermaid race to rule over all the races in the sea. The Heavenly Clouds Empire was enough on the land, and the sea was an empty space. Only after occupying both sides would the mortal world truly be at ease. The heavenly realm and the netherworld can be slower, but the mortal world must be unified. The situation in the mortal realm was the weakest, so they needed to unite even more. At that time, they would be able to better deal with the evil spirit race. He had thought that the evil spirit race had only infiltrated the heaven realm and the netherworld. Who would have thought that the mortal realm had already infiltrated and had even taken root in the sea? As for the details of the situation, it was up to him to investigate. Young master, do you need me to lead the way? Lan Qingling's face was filled with excitement. It was obvious that she wanted to help out. What do you think? Etionyan took a look at Cloud chasing Demon Master beside him. Lan Qingling's face fell immediately. If they were to compare leading the way, she would definitely not be as good as Cloud chasing Demon Master. Cloud chasing Demon Master stood at the side, unable to move. His eyes were filled with fear, but he could not say a word. He was conscious, but he couldn't speak or move. This was what terrified him the most. He could control her at will and say whatever she wanted him to. Such a mystical manipulation technique shocked the mermaid race. If they were controlled, wouldn't they have to say everything? Fortunately, Etionyan was her young master. This matter was not their turn yet. But I want to help. The Scarlet Demon race captured my parents. I want to take revenge. Lan Qingling's eyes were filled with hatred and determination. I can understand your feelings, but with your current cultivation, you won't be of much help. Etionyan rejected her heartlessly. Previously, he had agreed to bring her along because Lan Qingling knew the way. But now it was different. With Cloud chasing Demon Master leading the way, There was no need for her to lead the way. This would be very risky. He did not know what the situation was over there, but it was better to be careful. After hearing this, Lan Qingling was like a deflated balloon. She immediately became dispirited, and her eyes were filled with unwillingness. The Scarlet Demon race is not what you really need to take revenge on. The Scarlet Demon race is just cannon fodder. The real enemy is the evil spirit race. Onion stretched out his hand and gently touched her head. This is a memory for you. It contains some martial arts. The most important thing for you now is to cultivate well and improve your cultivation. Rule the sea area with your grandma. Find all the evil spirit race hiding in the sea area. I've already taught you the method to identify them. You can explain it to the Empress later. This is a difficult task, and I can't do it alone. This was true. He chose to unify not because he had absolute power, but when all the forces belonged to him or listened to his orders, he could interrogate them one by one and quickly spread out in all directions to find the evil spirit race. Even if the heaven-creating divine king and the others had amazing strength, they could not find all the places. If the whole mortal realm was covered with his forces, it would undoubtedly be much easier to find them. If there was anything amiss, he would ferociously dig it out and send people to completely eradicate it, or let him do it himself. After absorbing the memory, Lan Qingling's blue eyes flashed with a bit of determination. Okay, I know. I will definitely do this well. I will rule the whole sea area. Ding. Lan Qingling became a general, gained 5 million EXP, 100. 000 crazy point. Onion smiled. This was an unexpected harvest. He didn't expect Lan Qingling to recognize him so much. Then he will train her well. After settling everything, he immediately left with Cloud chasing Demon Master and did not stay any longer. He hoped that the mermaid race would do what he told them to do. You are dead. Even if you can find the heaven-ascending divine altar, you will never be able to take it away. When the time comes, our patriarch will definitely kill you and devour you. Hurry up and leave no bones behind. We have a lot of powerful identities and powerful helpers. Don't talk about killing your way in. You won't even be able to enter the door. Cloud chasing Demon Master, who has recovered his ability to speak, started to spew nonsense all the way. Etienne just stood there silently, listening to Cloud chasing Demon Master's words. Huh? Powerful helpers. Tell me the information about powerful helpers. Etienne said with a smile. Although the eyes of charm could control people, it couldn't search their memories. So if Etienne didn't ask, Cloud chasing Demon Master wouldn't say anything at all. It's the Water Dragon Empire's great emperor. They are willing to cooperate with us. They want to use our power to suppress the Heavenly Clouds Empire. In return, they need to pass on the information from the outside world and listen to our instructions. They don't know that the Water Dragon Empire will be sucked dry by us in the end. They are a group of stupid humans. Chapter 765. Sure enough, they joined forces with the human race to control the sea area, and then they want to control the Imperial forces on the land through other Imperial forces? Etienne squinted his eyes. Sure enough, some forces couldn't hold back their ambitions and wanted to capture the Heavenly Clouds Empire. It seemed that the Water Dragon Empire was doomed. He had heard about the Water Dragon Empire. It was ranked in the top 8, not too high nor too low. They had always been relatively low-key. Who would have thought that they would have such ambition? They even dared to think about wiping out their own empire and replacing it. The key was that cooperating with the evil spirit race was tantamount to a traitor to the human race and even the 3 realms. He didn't believe that the people of the Water Dragon Empire didn't know about the situation of the evil spirit race. This kind of race was willing to cooperate with them, which proved how crazy they were. Etienne's eyes were full of killing intent. This kind of traitor should be eliminated completely. You are dead. Don't try to get any information from me. I can't reveal any information to you this time. Just give up. Cloud chasing Demon Master shouted when he found that he could speak again. Don't worry, I don't intend to get too much information from you. You're just a small character. What kind of information can you get? Yun looked at him coldly. He didn't know a lot of important information, such as where the old ancestor was hiding before, or if there were other important bases. He didn't say a word. He was just a small character. When cloud-chasing demon master opened his mouth and wanted to refute something, he found that he couldn't speak anymore. Yun was too lazy to listen to him. No matter what kind of conspiracy it was, he just needed to punch it. No wonder they gave such an amazing reward. It seems that this trip won't be easy. Yun's eyes flashed. The amazing reward of the main quest meant that it would be difficult to regain control this time. Under the guidance of cloud-chasing demon master, they quickly swam to heaven ascending divine altar. According to cloud-chasing demon master, heaven ascending divine altar was now their base. No matter what it was controlled. For example, those creator-level divine runes were all controlled. This meant that the phantom in heaven ascending divine altar was basically suppressed. It seemed that the opponent this time was quite difficult, but it wasn't too difficult for him. Unless a god king appeared, everything else was trash. With his astonishing speed, he soon arrived at the territory of the Scarlet Demon Tribe, the underground abyss. As expected, this area was quite difficult to find. If no one led the way, you would have to spend a lot of effort to find this place. Not only was the place remote, but it was also very deep. It was in the depths of a huge crack. Looking down from above, it was dark and unfathomable. Even the water source was much colder than above. It felt like they had entered a world of ice and snow. Ding! Elephant Tiger Empire successfully became an ally. Reward: 1 billion EXP, 10. 000 Crazy Point 10. 000 SBS 10. 000 Proficiency can be assigned to any place that requires proficiency. Yun narrowed his eyes. Just as he was about to attack, he heard the latest news. It seemed that dragging the Empire into an alliance would give him quite a good reward, which was unexpected. This proved that Yun and the others had been working very hard. If this were to continue, he would be able to level up once he roped in most of the forces. I'm not fighting alone. I have a group of reliable companions supporting me. Yun's eyes flashed. For them, he should protect everything. Immediately, he dragged cloud-chasing demon master and swam down quickly. At the same time, he concealed his aura and quietly hid behind. As long as it wasn't a super expert, it was impossible to discover his existence. As he went deeper and deeper, finally a familiar figure appeared in front of him. The huge heaven-ascending divine altar stood at the bottom of the abyss. There were countless ice here, and it was quite cold. However, the Scarlet Demon Tribe wasn't worried. They had water and fire attributes in their body, so they weren't afraid of this cold. There were many Scarlet Demon Tribe members guarding the heaven-ascending divine altar, looking around vigilantly. Although it was very remote, they didn't relax their vigilance and were all patrolling the edge. Who is it? When cloud-chasing demon master just came down, a guard immediately pointed his weapon at him. When he saw that it was cloud-chasing demon master, he immediately said respectfully, "It turned out to be cloud-chasing demon master. You came back so quickly?" "I came back to report some matters." Cloud-chasing demon master waved his hand. These were all controlled by Yun. He could control everything. Yes. Without any hesitation, the guards immediately made way for cloud-chasing demon master to enter. Cloud-chasing demon master's cultivation wasn't very high, but it was considered very good here, so the guards were still very respectful. However, a moment later, cloud-chasing demon master suddenly went crazy and slashed at the guards beside him with his weapon. The guards didn't even have time to react before many of them were slashed to death. Cloud-chasing demon master, what's wrong with you? Cloud-chasing demon master is crazy. He betrayed us? Quick, stop him. Call for reinforcements. All of them shouted and dodged to the side, as if they had gone crazy. These guards' cultivation was too low, and they couldn't compare to cloud-chasing demon master. Soon, some people came out of the heaven-ascending divine altar to support them. The first one who came out was a four-armed Scarlet Demon clan. Cloud-chasing demon master, Are you crazy? Cloud-chasing demon master kept roaring in his heart. I'm not crazy. Someone made me crazy. But he couldn't say it out loud. When he saw the person rushing out, he immediately raised his weapon and fought with his companions who rushed out. The situation outside quickly affected the inside. Many experts rushed out. All of them were Void Spirit Stage experts. Even the Spirit King Stage Scarlet Demon clan rushed out. He didn't expect the Scarlet Demon clan's strength to be so amazing, but each of them had 4 arms, which proved that they all had the bloodline of the Evil Spirit clan. They didn't hide at all, unlike the Heavenly Netherworld Divine Nation, who only showed the appearance of the Evil Spirit clan when they burst out. From the beginning, they didn't hide at all. At the same time, Etienne's figure flashed and disappeared. In the next moment, he appeared inside the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar. It was undeniable that this place was under control, but it was still the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar. At this time, there was no one inside. Everyone was attracted by the situation outside. In fact, he could have killed all the way in, but he needed to know the details of the situation inside. Who exactly had the ability to control this Heaven Ascension Divine Altar? Chapter 766. After Etienne sneaked in, he immediately went deep inside. He was too familiar with this place. Every Heaven Ascension Divine Altar was exactly the same. There was no difference at all. So as soon as he came in, he entered the secret passage and easily avoided the patrol of other guards. In less than a moment, he went out from the other end, and his figure flashed in front of a group of guards. No one could see his movements. His speed was too fast, and the guards here couldn't see him at all. At most, they could feel a gust of wind blowing past them. I wonder who was controlling this Heaven Ascension Altar. Etienne squinted his eyes. To be able to suppress the spirits here and control the environment here, it was impossible without a certain level of ability. He really wanted to see who it was, or which expert from the evil spirit race it was. He hid his figure and quickly flew towards the control panel. The deeper he went, the fewer guards there were. It was basically impossible to break in here. If someone could break in, it meant that they were powerful, so there was no need to set up any protection. When Etienne passed by a room, he immediately stopped and quietly squatted to the side, blending with the wall so that no one could see him. He just stood there listening to the sound inside. Hey, it seems that there is a situation outside. The water dragon Great Emperor frowned and stood up. Don't worry about it. It should be a small matter. Let's continue talking. The person opposite to him was an old man who looked very ordinary, no different from the ordinary old man outside. However, the guards next to the old man stood respectfully next to him, and each of them was at the Spirit King stage, which was enough to prove that this seemingly ordinary old man was not immortal. An old man who could sit in front of a great emperor couldn't be simple. Lord Songming, now that the Heavenly Clouds Empire has begun to spread its power crazily, we must join that bullshit alliance. If we don't join, we will be punished. It seems that the Heavenly Clouds Empire wants to rule the entire mortal world. If you don't take action now, not only our Water Dragon Empire, but even the other empires will be conquered. The Water Dragon Great Emperor said angrily. The Heavenly Clouds Empire is too overbearing. I don't know where they got so many weapons and so many demonic beasts. If this goes on, there will be no place for our Water Dragon Empire. If he joined the alliance, he would definitely have to listen to Etienne's orders, and someone would arrange for him to take up a position in the empire. It would be equivalent to being monitored, and it would not be convenient for them to move around. If Etienne interfered in the affairs of the other empires, he would definitely cause them to be disgusted. Therefore, he would use martial arts to make them submit. In fact, the effect was very obvious. The fact that there were empires coming over immediately was the best proof. He wouldn't interfere too much. Everything would operate according to the previous situation. He would only send someone to pass on the message. Once something happened, he would immediately send someone to give instructions. It was that simple. He didn't care about anything else. He wasn't that interested. If they want to pull you into their alliance, then you should join them. Elder Songming smiled faintly. Isn't this exactly what we want? They could easily mingle with them. And when the time came, It would be even easier to plant their forces in their empire. You can even say that it would be easier to capture some cultivators. Do you understand what I mean? But they will arrange for people to come over and take over some things. Our every move will be known. The water dragon great emperor knew that there were many benefits, but it was definitely not a good feeling to be monitored. That's easy. I will give you some soul enchanting poison to make him delirious. Wouldn't everything be solved? Elder Songming smiled and took out a bottle of something and put it in front of him. The water dragon great emperor's eyes lit up. Is there such an amazing poison? It can control others at will and make them listen to your orders? Of course. To us, nothing is impossible. Old man Songming said, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. I will do my best to support you from behind. Find an opportunity to kill the Heavenly Clouds Empire's great emperor, and this new force will soon collapse. It's just a new empire, and its foundation is not stable. Once the great emperor dies, it will immediately fall into chaos. That's for sure. That great emperor is a nouveau riche, and he is just relying on his power to kill people. If he dies, the Heavenly Clouds Empire will definitely collapse. The water dragon great emperor said with strong killing intent in his eyes. How could he not be jealous of Heavenly Clouds Empire that easily? He hated himself for not having such a strong power, and he also wanted to be so domineering. All of them submitted to him, not daring to resist. It's just that the Heavenly Clouds great emperor is very elusive, and we don't know where he went. It's too difficult to assassinate him, and he is also very strong. He might be at the peak of the Spirit King stage. The water dragon great emperor shook his head again as he thought about it. If he doesn't have some ability, how can he become an emperor? Elder Song Ming said indifferently. If he dares to come to the sea, I will kill him. If you can't deal with him, try to lure him here, and we will deal with him. Of course, who doesn't know Lord Song Ming's ability? The water dragon great emperor said with a smile. By the way, we can capture his trusted aides. I heard that some of them have a good relationship with him. As long as we capture them as hostages, we will definitely be able to lure him here. All right, we can't leave this sea, so you will be the one to do it. As long as you can lure him here, it will be a success. Elder Song Ming said, from now on, you will be in charge of the land, and we will control the sea. We will support each other. Of course, of course. The water dragon great emperor was excited. This was the result he wanted. How could he not be excited to rule all the continents? If there is no problem, I want to implement it as soon as possible. Elder Song Ming said. Also, did you send people to destroy the passage between the heavenly realm and the underworld? Yes, but it is very difficult to destroy it, especially the heavenly realm. Just as we tried to destroy it, a strong expert intercepted us. We didn't know who it was, but more than half of our people died. The water dragon great emperor shook his head, feeling very annoyed. At all costs, you must destroy the two passages, understand? Elder Song Ming's eyes turned cold, and his aura surged out. The water dragon great emperor was pushed back a few steps and almost fell to the ground. Understood. The water dragon great emperor's back was drenched in cold sweat. Chapter 767. As soon as Tianyun came in, he heard such heavy news. From their conversation, he could tell that they had made a deal before, and it wasn't just once or twice. Especially when he heard that they wanted to capture the people around him to threaten him. An astonishing killing intent surged in his heart. He always had a principle: if they came for him, it didn't matter. But if his family or friends were involved, then it would be equivalent to killing his entire family. Now, in his heart, the Water Dragon Empire had become a target of destruction, especially for a traitor. But they didn't know Tianyun's good intentions. In order to make the mortal world safer, he formed an alliance. Moreover, he could tell that they already had a cooperative relationship before he formed this alliance. This proved that the Water Dragon Great Emperor and the others were so ambitious that they were willing to collude with the evil spirit race. It seems that I have to strengthen my guard in this area. I didn't know that the evil spirit race existed in the mortal world before. Before he came to this sea area, he really didn't know that the evil spirit race existed here, and they were very powerful. The old man in front of him had reached the 7th level of the Saint King stage, which was unbelievable. How could there be such a strong cultivator in the mortal world? In fact, it existed just like that. It wasn't suppressed at all, and it looked pretty good here. Tianyin could feel that there was indeed no pressure in this area. Because he was a guardian, he was not suppressed at all. It didn't mean that he couldn't sense the suppression. There was no suppression here. It should be some kind of treasure or some kind of power that was resisting it. Song Ming's previous words were very clear. If he could leave this sea area, he would have been able to suppress all forces. It's just that he couldn't go up now, unless he destroyed the power of the 2 passages, so the suppression effect would be greatly weakened. It was just weakened, but it didn't mean that it didn't exist. But after being weakened, they could easily leave the sea area by relying on their strength. At that time, the mortal world would immediately fall into a crisis. They wouldn't need to rely on external demon reinforcements. Their current strength was enough to suppress the mortal world. Originally, the heaven-creating divine king and the others created this suppression to make the resource-scarce mortal world safer, so that there wouldn't be so many powerful forces here. Otherwise, no one would have food to eat, and the resources wouldn't be able to support those experts. They would definitely be sent to the heaven realm or the underworld. Now that most of the experts had left, the strongest was only at the Spirit King stage. If a Saint King stage expert came out, everything would be over. Very quickly, they finished discussing the plan. It was to have the Water Dragon Emperor strengthen the destruction of the 2 tunnels and lure him over to the sea region. Don't worry, I will definitely do it well. The Water Dragon Emperor smiled as he walked out. Just as he walked out, a figure appeared in front of him. He subconsciously looked up and immediately met a pair of eyes. The next moment, he felt his consciousness disappear, as if he had been sucked into a whirlpool. Water Dragon Emperor, what's wrong? A guard at the side looked at the Water Dragon Emperor with a look of disgust. Although they were working with the Water Dragon Emperor, they still hated the human race. Or rather, they hated any other race besides themselves. He was even more annoyed that he was blocking the way here. Nothing, I just want to eat something. I will definitely complete Lord Song Ming's task. The Water Dragon Emperor smiled and turned to leave. Song Ming walked out of the tunnel and looked in front of him. Why did I feel someone here just now? Song Ming frowned, but he didn't think much about it. He turned around and walked forward. After he disappeared, a figure gradually appeared. Who else could it be but Tianyin? After he controlled the Water Dragon Emperor, Tianyin immediately went invisible to avoid being seen by Song Ming. Fortunately, the Water Dragon Emperor's cultivation was at the 4th layer of Spirit King stage. As for the Demon Master Cloud Chaser, he was already dead outside. Let me see where you are going. Tianyun's eyes became cold. He continued to hide his body and followed the old man. He wanted to see where the old man was going. He completely concealed his aura and followed them silently. The other party had no idea who was behind him. Soon, under the lead of Song Ming, Tianyin arrived at the core area of the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar. There were countless divine runes in this area, all of which could control the divine runes in all areas of the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar. Open the door! Song Ming shouted. Rumble, the heavy door in front of him slowly opened. The door was very hard. Even a Saint King stage expert would find it difficult to break it. However, with a shout from him, the door was easily opened. Tianyin frowned and didn't follow Song Ming. After all, he would be exposed if he followed Song Ming. If he got too close, it would be easy to be discovered. Immediately, the door slowly closed and returned to its previous state. But Tianyin wasn't worried. He just stuck close to the door and used his appraisal eye to penetrate the wall. The divine runes on the wall couldn't stop him from penetrating it, so he could easily see the situation inside. After probing inside, Tianyin immediately got a panoramic view of the situation inside. After Song Ming walked up, he said in a deep voice, Song Ming, how is your control? In front of Song Ming was the evil spirit race, and it was a real evil spirit race. It had 2 arms on its back and 2 arms on its front. Its whole body was pitch black like a black crystal. Its cultivation had reached the 6th layer of the Saint King stage, similar to Tsangming. The key was that this was the original state of the evil spirit race, and it hadn't undergone reproduction with other races. Unexpectedly, there was still a fish that escaped the net. Almost there, I basically have control over it. If I hadn't devoured so many descendants of the heaven-creating divine king, I wouldn't have been able to control this thing. Songming said in a harsh voice, "If you continue to catch more descendants of the heaven-creating divine king, you can easily deceive the heaven-ascending divine altar. Yes, I have already ordered people to catch them, but it's not easy to find the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king. There are too few of them in the mortal world, and there should be more in the underworld. If I hadn't seen who the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king were, it would have been really difficult to catch them." Songming sneered. "When the heaven-ascending divine altar is completely controlled, the pressure will be greatly reduced. If the channel is destroyed, then we can basically leave this sea. Yes, we have been waiting for this day for too long. If it weren't for the treasures left by our ancestors, we would have been discovered. Moreover, we have to use the blood of our ancestors to ensure that our descendants can survive here." Songming said angrily, "Heaven-creating divine king, king of the heavens, and that damn ancient underworld god king, I must make their descendants die without a burial place." Chapter 768. Etianyan has been thinking about how someone could control the heaven-ascending divine altar, unless it's the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king. But how could the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king come here and not die? This was the territory of the evil spirit race. If they came here, they would definitely die without a burial ground. It should be said that they would be devoured until not even their bones were left. Unexpectedly, they have such a special ability to devour the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king and then absorb the blood essence for their own use. In this case, they can deceive the phantom. The phantom doesn't care about appearance. It only recognizes the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king. After passing the test, it can obtain the right to inherit. Although Etianyan has become the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king, the priority is still the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king, especially the heaven-ascending divine altar in the mortal world. So from the beginning, he couldn't contact the heaven-ascending divine altar here. Otherwise, he would have sensed the teleportation formation here. It should be suppressed by the evil spirit race with a treasure, cutting off the power of the heaven-ascending divine altar. Without any power, the effect of blocking was definitely minimal. After being controlled, it is even easier to move the heaven-ascending divine altar away. Although the heaven-ascending divine altar is huge, as long as there are enough sea monsters or a lot of experts, it can be moved away. The premise is that the heaven-ascending divine altar doesn't resist, then it can be easily moved away. Otherwise, if it is forcibly moved, it will trigger the attack of the heaven-ascending divine altar. Even a Saint King stage expert will be killed. Who knew that the evil spirit race would capture the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king and devour them to gain control? This method is really cruel. It makes him angry. Listening to what they said, they can also see who is the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king. This is simply terrifying. No wonder the heaven-creating divine king's empire was destroyed so quickly. Without a strong force to protect it, it was easily destroyed by the evil spirit race left here. The heaven-sealing divine kingdom is different. It has a special power to suppress the evil spirit race. Once they get close, they will be destroyed. The heaven-creating divine king was not selfish enough. Otherwise, his divine kingdom would not have been destroyed. Etianyan inferred that it is very likely that it was destroyed by the evil spirit race. But the heaven-ascending divine altar of the underworld is a bit more shocking and uncontrollable. After all, the Nether Heaven Divine Kingdom has been controlling it for a long time. Very good, very good. This is really a big gain. Etianyan's eyes were cold, and his heart was cold. Originally, he came to heaven-ascending divine altar, but now that he could destroy one of the oldest forces, how could he not make a profit? But he is not in a rush. He wants to hear what is going on inside. That's for sure. The injuries that the three great god kings gave us must be avenged. However, the three realms are all ours. When the time comes, all lives will submit to us. We can devour them whenever we want. Song Ming laughed heartily and said, "It's almost done. You haven't even absorbed the blood essence from before. This time, I've caught two descendants of the heaven-creating divine king. It's just that the bloodline is quite thin, just a trace at most." Tian Yang Dragon Race, Yang Ascending Realm, Ascending Demon King, Clan Dragon of Clan has the Master's Clan Dragon has the Sect Clan, Yang of the Clan, Sect King, Sect Yang Yin, Clan, God Sect. Okay. Song Ming Old Man waved his hand, and two figures were thrown to the ground. One was from the mermaid race, and the other was from the heavenly monster race. Only the evil spirit race has the ability to recognize the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king, and the scarlet demon race definitely can't recognize them. Most of the evil spirit race can't leave the sea, so they can only capture people in this area. The descendants of the heaven-creating divine king have a good relationship with the races in the sea, so it is normal for them to marry. Therefore, it is not strange for them to have the bloodline of the heaven-creating divine king. However, the density of the bloodline is quite low, basically negligible. For the evil spirit race, as long as it is the power of the bloodline, it does not matter how much it is, they just need to absorb it. As long as they can accumulate it bit by bit, it is enough. There are very few people who have the bloodline of the heaven-creating divine king. It is already very good if they can get close to it. Therefore, they can only accumulate a lot. It seems that the Phantom made the wrong judgment. It must have devoured a lot of people. Don't devour me. Don't devour me. The heavenly monster race is as timid as a mouse and immediately shrunk into a ball. However, they are all tied up and can't even escape. The mermaid race girl looked at them coldly and said, "If you want to kill us, then kill us. The Empress will definitely avenge us." The mermaid race's character is completely opposite. They are worthy of being the first to kill. They always have a fearless heart. No wonder the heaven-creating divine king would ask the king of the heavens to help him forge a middle-grade divine tool. This is a very high reward. Low-grade divine tools are very rare, so a middle-grade divine tool is even more enviable. The Empress will avenge you? Song Ming sneered. Unfortunately, you won't have the chance to see it. Soon, your Empress will be captured. Her bloodline is one of the more concentrated ones. You can't miss it. At that time, your arrogant Empress will also become our food. TSK, I think it will taste delicious, right? Impossible. The Empress won't be captured by you two devils. The mermaid race girl shouted angrily. She won't admit to their words. You won't know that. Soon, you will become my meal. Song Yin looked at her and sneered. I plan to eat you first. I like to eat those who are not afraid of death the most. I can listen to their screams and their heartbeats as I swallow them bit by bit. It's really delicious. Pervert. The mermaid race girl's face paled and her delicate body trembled slightly. Just thinking about it was terrifying. That's the effect. Continue to curse me. Song Yun stretched out his hand and grabbed the mermaid race girl. He lifted her up and placed her on his head. When he opened his mouth, his sharp teeth glinted coldly. It will definitely be delicious. I like to eat the mermaid race. The Empress will definitely avenge me. Kill all of you devils, kill all of you. The mermaid race girl shouted loudly. Don't worry, she will accompany you soon. Just as he was about to let go, a cold light flashed from the side. Then, both of his arms were cut off and a pillar of blood spurted out. While he was in pain, the mermaid race girl fell to the ground. However, she did not fall into his mouth. Instead, she was carried over by a figure. Chapter 769. The sudden change startled both of them, especially Tsang Yun. His two arms were easily cut off and black blood sprayed out, causing steam to rise from where it landed. The ground was visibly corroded by the blood, which was enough to show how terrifying the corrosive power of this blood was. However, the corrosion soon stopped, and at the same time, the two arms began to grow crazily and gradually began to restore their original appearance. This level of healing ability was simply unimaginable. However, an ordinary Saint King stage master did have the ability to heal a severed arm, but they wouldn't be able to recover as quickly as Song Yun. "How did you get in here?" Song Ming and Song Yun's faces were gloomy as they looked around. The door was still closed and hadn't opened. If Song Ming hadn't opened the door for Song Yun, he wouldn't have been able to enter at all. Only by smashing the door for 10 days or half a month would he be able to break in. Now that the door was intact and hadn't been opened, someone had already come in. It was really strange. Tianyin had come in through teleportation, so of course, no one would be able to notice him. He could easily come in. Any barrier was nothing to him. For other masters who could use space teleportation, they would definitely be envious to the point of vomiting blood. They wouldn't be able to teleport in, because they would definitely be blocked by the divine runes on the door. This was a divine skill, so how could it be so easily blocked? The mermaid girl in Tianyun's arms was dumbfounded. She thought she was going to die, but suddenly a human had rushed in and saved her. Although she hated humans at this moment, her heart was filled with gratitude. If someone could save her, she wouldn't have any problem giving herself to them. However, Tianyun pushed her to the side and slowly landed on the ground. Holding the evil spirit divine sword in his hand, he said indifferently, "You don't need to know how I came in. Dead people don't need to know too much. Go." Song Ming and Song Yun didn't say a word. They had already finished gathering their strength, and in the next moment, two thick arms quickly emerged from Song Ming's back. His originally kind face immediately turned into a ferocious demon. At the same time, Yang Kai's body also grew several times in size, transforming into a giant. At the same time, the power of a Saint King stage 7th layer Saint King stage burst out. It was the same for Song Yun. His severed arm did not regrow immediately, but it did not stop him from growing bigger and turning into a four-armed giant. After becoming bigger, the arm's recovery speed became even more astonishing. In the next moment, Song Yun formed a seal with his hands, and the entire hall shone with dazzling light. The divine rune formation was activated, and countless sharp swords formed from spiritual energy emerged from the surroundings, forming a large circle. Every single one of them was extraordinarily powerful, and they were all comparable to the attack of a primary stage Saint King. Song Yun was the ruler of this place, so it was not surprising that he could control the formation here. Although he only controlled the 7th and 8th floors, it was enough for him. "I don't know how you snuck in, but the result of breaking in is death." Song Yun was furious. He hadn't expected that his arm would be chopped off in a moment of carelessness. How could he swallow this insult? To be able to sneak in without anyone noticing this person's cultivation is definitely not simple. Quickly kill him. Song Ming's eyes were filled with caution. He suspected that Tianyun had snuck in, and this kind of concealment technique that even he couldn't detect meant that his cultivation was definitely not weak. However, he did not make a move. In his opinion, since Song Yun was in control of the formation, everything was already set in stone. "I'm not in a hurry to kill him. I'm going to eat him up one bite at a time. The higher his cultivation, the better it will be for me." Song Yun laughed cruelly. "Do you think that you've succeeded just because you snuck in? Since you've entered my territory, you should just obediently wait for your death, foolish human." He stretched out his hand and pointed gently. Countless sharp swords pierced towards Tianyun from all directions. If he couldn't block them, they would turn him into a sieve. The young mermaid's face was pale. She wanted to help, but she couldn't. As for the heavenly demon tribe, they had already curled up into a ball and were hiding, not daring to move. Under the watchful eyes of the two powerful cultivators, countless sharp swords pierced through the air. Tianyun stood motionless, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. "Don't!" The young mermaid screamed and covered her eyes. She was a little sad. She didn't know Tianyun, but he had saved her, so she sympathized with him. What's going on?" Song Yun and the others were shocked. The young mermaid slowly opened her palm. What came into view were countless sharp swords that stopped less than half a meter in front of Tianyun. They couldn't go any further. "Your territory? Who told you that this is your territory? When I stand here, this is my territory. Onion stretched out his hand and pointed. In an instant, the surrounding sharp swords turned around and pointed towards them. You are the descendant of the heaven-creating divine king. No, that's not right. You are the successor of the heaven-creating divine king? Song Yun and the others screamed, but it was too late. Countless sharp swords pierced through the air and hit their bodies, causing terrifying explosions. In an instant, a dazzling light bloomed in the hall, so dazzling that people couldn't open their eyes. The young mermaid and the heavenly monster tribesmen were dragged to the side, so this attack didn't affect them. After the explosion, the two evil spirit race powerhouses came into view again. There was not a single piece of flesh on their bodies that was intact. Song Yun's leg was blown off. He hadn't recovered from his previous injuries, so it was naturally a little difficult for him to resist. Song Ming wasn't much better. His body was full of potholes, and his condition was quite serious. With so many crazy swords, the most they could achieve was the strength of a Saint King stage first-layer cultivator. However, there were too many of them, and they couldn't block so many of them. Even divine tools were brought out, but it was useless. How could the great array arranged by the heaven-creating divine king be so easy to deal with? However, everything was under Tianyun's control. The moment he came in, he immediately communicated with the Phantom and forcibly seized control of this place. It was undeniable that Song Yun had the bloodline of the heaven-creating divine king's descendant, but he was a pure descendant, so he definitely had priority over the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king. Since the descendant was a disciple of the heaven-creating divine king, he definitely had priority over the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king. If you answer correctly, I can reward you with a good death. Tianyun held the evil spirit divine sword and looked at them coldly. He sneered and said, "Also, I will kill all the Scarlet Demon clan members here, and the rest of you. I want all of you to disappear from this world. You are simply polluting the environment of the three realms." Chapter 770. The eyes of the two evil spirit race powerhouses were filled with horror. Their cultivation wasn't low, but they were in the core area now. The power of the core area far exceeded the power of the other areas, so the power of the attack was quite terrifying. This was just the initial attack, and they could still use more power to attack. It can be said that if they lost control, they would definitely die, even if the controller was many times weaker than them, only at Void Spirit stage. Once they gained control, even Saint King stage powerhouses would definitely die here. After all, there was a power that could restrain them, and that was the ultimate light attribute power that could easily penetrate their defenses. After destroying their bodies, it would be very difficult to recover. Now that there were gates blocking their escape route, and they lost control, wouldn't that mean that they could only wait for death? Human, don't be impulsive. Everything can be discussed. I can help you become the absolute king of the mortal world. You can sit on any great emperor's throne, in that heavenly cloud's empire. I can let you replace it and become the strongest great emperor. Song Ming shouted in horror. They didn't want to die, and they wanted to try to use the greed of the human race. The water dragon great emperor was ambitious, but he didn't have enough power, so he could only turn to the evil spirit race for help. The heavenly cloud's empire's great emperor? Tianyun laughed. Yes. As long as you are willing to let us go and join us, you can become the strongest great emperor in the mortal world. We can't leave the sea, so don't worry about us interfering with you. Song Ming said hurriedly. Do you know who I am? Tianyun said indifferently. Yes, who are you? They don't know who Tianyun is, but he's already pissed them off. The heavenly cloud's great emperor. As soon as he said that, Tianyun slashed his sword, and the evil spirit's soul opened its huge mouth to devour them. And in the blink of an eye, it was already in front of them. When they reacted, the attack was already in front of them, and they hurriedly dodged to the side. Song Ming could still dodge, but Song Yun was seriously injured, so he couldn't dodge quickly. With a miserable shriek, he was devoured by the evil spirit soul. This evil spirit soul looked similar to them, But in the end, it was devoured by their own power. It was really ironic. Song Ming had barely managed to dodge the attack, but half of his body had been bitten off by the evil spirit's soul, and half of his body was gone. Ding! Successfully killed Song Yun. Reward 4. 3 billion EXP, 350,000 crazy point, 13,000 SPS obtained. Soul of an evil spirit rare. Bloodline of an evil spirit rare. Bone of an evil spirit rare. 50x experience card. 1 million experience pills. There were quite a lot of items that dropped, but there were no weapons. Overall, it was better than before. The 3,000 points of prestige that he had obtained previously must have increased the effect. After Song Yun was devoured by the evil spirit, he was devoured until nothing was left. He was killed without the slightest bit of mercy. If he stayed, he wouldn't be able to get anything out of him, so he might as well just kill him. After losing half of his body, Song Ming fell directly to the ground, and blood kept spurting out. Although the bleeding had stopped, his heart was still full of fear. They couldn't even block a single sword strike. And this wasn't even relying on the power of Heaven Ascending Divine Altar, but relying on their own power to suppress themselves. Aren't you being suppressed? Song Ming shouted in horror. Aren't you a little forgetful? I told you before that I am the successor of the Heaven-creating Divine King. Do you think I will be suppressed by the power here? Tianyun sneered. No wonder, no wonder. So you are the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor. No wonder you can become the strongest great emperor and the successor of the Heaven-creating Divine King. Huh? Song Ming laughed, thinking that everything was so ridiculous. But he wasn't laughing at Tianyun, he was laughing at himself. He didn't expect that the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor that he had painstakingly tried to kill was the young man in front of him. The key was that he was the successor of the Heaven-creating Divine King. Have you said your last words? Tianyun walked in front of him step by step. Do you think you have a good chance of winning? Do you think you can kill us? You don't know how much power we have in the three realms, and you don't know anything about the outside world. You are just a group of people struggling at death's door. Sooner or later, the three realms will be devoured by us. Song Ming's eyes were cold, and he didn't look like he was begging for mercy before. They were just pretending to deceive Tianyun so that they would be easily fooled. In their hearts, there was no fear of death, only endless greed and anger. They wanted to destroy the descendants of the Heaven-creating Divine King and devour all the lives in the three realms to become their fertilizer. Why are you so obsessed with the three realms? Is there no other life outside? Tianyun's eyes were cold. You are too naive to ask this question. Because the three realms is weak, idiot, Song Ming said sarcastically, thinking that everything was so ridiculous. Puchi! Tianyun slashed down with his sword and cut Song Ming in half, but Song Ming didn't die from the blow. It is true that the three realms is weak, but you can rest assured that I will kill as many as you come. After I break through to the God King realm, I will personally go to your evil spirit race's territory and wipe you all out. Tianyun's eyes were cold. He was not afraid at all. The three realms was weak. Tianyun didn't need Song Ming to say this. He already knew that. If the three realms was strong, the evil spirit race wouldn't have dared to invade them. Song Ming's eyes were still cold and full of disdain. He felt that Tianyun was overestimating himself. Yes, I am, Tianyun said indifferently. Those who offend the three realms will be killed no matter how far they are. As soon as Tianyun said that, he didn't wait for Song Ming to say anything and stabbed him with his sword. Ding! Successfully killed Song Ming. Reward: 5 billion EXP, 380. 000 CPS, 150. 000 SPS. Reward: Evil Spirit Soul, rare. Evil Spirit Bloodline, rare. Evil Spirit Bone, rare. Reward: Evil Spirit Divine Sword, low-grade Divine Tool. Evil Spirit Divine Armor, low-grade Divine Tool. Evil Spirit Boots, low-grade Divine Tool. After killing him, Tianyun got a whole set of Divine Tool. Chapter 771. After killing 2 old ancestor-level characters, Etienne's heart is still heavy. As Tsang Ming said before, they have many forces hidden in the 3 realms. Only when they are exposed will they know whether they are evil spirit race or not. Most people would not be able to see it with the naked eye. Only if they were injured in their blood would they be able to tell. Upgrade appraisal eye. It should be easy to identify them. Etienne knows how to identify them, and the appraisal eye is a good way to do it. Although he can detect a lot of things, there are still many things that he can't detect. For example, the extremely detailed bloodline power is not so easy to detect. He believes that as long as he upgrades appraisal eye, he can definitely find out who is evil spirit race. It seems that there is an urgent need to upgrade appraisal eye, but it needs a lot of crazy points. 50 million crazy points is really a lot. But for him now, it is not difficult to upgrade appraisal eye. Successfully completed main quest, find the Heaven Ascension Temple in the mortal world and gain control of it. Reward: 20 million EXP, 150 million crazy points. Congratulations to player Etienne for successfully breaking through to 5th layer Saint King stage. After obtaining the EXP, he immediately leveled up to 5th layer Saint King stage. Plus, he killed so many strong evil spirit race experts. With this, he will be able to break through to God King stage. But even so, he feels that it is just the beginning. After all, some of the evil spirit race's powerhouses had reached level 6 or level 7 of the Immortal King stage. How could they be defeated so easily? Successfully accepted main quest, unify the mortal world and eradicate all evil spirit race experts. Reward: 40 million crazy points, 5 million SPS points, 500,000 crazy points, and get a new title king of the mortal world. Just what I wanted. Etienne squinted his eyes. The main quest is very much in line with what he wanted. His original intention was to unify the mortal world and eradicate all the evil spirit race, returning peace to the mortal world. Immediately, the phantom reappeared in his sight. It is a little girl, no different from other Heaven Ascension Temple. Master, the phantom respectfully greeted. You've been deceived by these guys, do you know that? Etienne frowned and asked. After investigation, they have the bloodline of the heaven creating divine king, and they have a lot of it. Moreover, they have passed certain tests and gained control over it. The phantom replied very rigidly. Etienne felt very helpless. It was indeed worthy of being the most rigid phantom. If it was a tool spirit, it would be a different story. The Heaven Ascending Divine Altar was not a divine artifact, so there was no artifact spirit, only the rules left by the Heaven Creating Divine King. It was just that the rules had harmed them. As long as the conditions were met, they could obtain control. It was simply ridiculous. If the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar was a divine tool, then it would be very powerful. The problem was that it wasn't a divine artifact, which was why it ended up like this. Forget it. I can't be bothered to talk to you. At that time, the heaven-creating divine king didn't expect that the evil spirit race could have this kind of ability. Etienne shook his head. Who would have thought that the evil spirit race could devour blood and turn it into his own? This was similar to absorbing the blood essence of the Phoenix clan. The more he absorbed, the stronger he would become. However, there was always a limit to absorbing the blood of other races. He couldn't keep on absorbing like crazy. After reaching a certain limit, if he continued to absorb it, he would be completely crippled. After all, it was impossible to change them completely unless they were descendants of the Phoenix race and had the corresponding bloodline. This could only be called a bloodline awakening, a phenomenon of atavism. If there wasn't even a tiny bit of it, he wouldn't be able to crazily absorb it. If he exceeded it, his body would explode. The evil spirit race did not have this restriction. They could continue to devour and replenish their bloodline. It could even be used. It was simply heaven-defying. However, there was still a limit. It was just that this limit was relatively large. Every race had their own talents, and it was up to them to discover them. Etienne didn't think that there was anything wrong with the human race. It was just that they were extremely balanced in all aspects. Once they aimed at a certain direction, the effect would be quite shocking. For example, humans could become blacksmiths, divine inscriptionists, and so on. Basically, Anything was possible. After switching to the mermaid race, blacksmiths were not good enough. At most, they were divine pattern masters. The reason was simple. Their attributes clashed. The water attribute could not be used for forging, nor could it be used for alchemy. The human race was balanced in all aspects and developed in all aspects. The evil spirit race's restrictions were relatively greater, and it was easy to be locked up. However, there was too little information. Tianyun didn't know how many other races there were, but he believed that there would definitely be even more heaven-defying existences. The evil spirit race was probably just the beginning. The more heaven-defying ones would probably make one speechless. It's about time. Tianyun slowly opened his eyes. After he obtained control, he fully investigated all the areas to see if there were any other people who had been captured. After careful investigation, he discovered that there were indeed people, and there were quite a few of them. There was an area in the Heaven Ascending Divine altar that was basically filled with all kinds of races. They didn't have the bloodline of the heaven-creating Divine King, but they could be used as food for the evil spirit race. Therefore, they would capture many with good talent. The weak were prey to the strong. Tianyun understood this principle. If the three realms were to be devoured by the evil spirit race, he wouldn't have any complaints. He could only say that he was too weak. However, if he was alive, he couldn't let this happen. Only those who were stronger could survive in this world. Slaughter begins. Tianyun attacked without hesitation. In an instant, the divine runes inside the Heaven Ascending Divine altar erupted. Countless light pillars pierced through the walls, completely piercing through the Scarlet Demon race who were staying inside. Many of the Scarlet Demon race didn't even have time to react before they were turned into sieves and died. Especially the evil spirit race. They were even more roasted. They definitely wouldn't leave behind a single breath. In the blink of an eye, the entire Heaven Ascending Divine altar blossomed with dazzling light, startling the guards outside. They didn't know what was going on. But soon it was their turn. Countless light pillars pierced through the outside of the Heaven Ascending Divine altar and easily killed those guards. These guards' cultivation was relatively low, so killing them was effortless. In less than a short period of time, they were all completely dead. What happened? Many cultivators in the prison looked outside in horror. All of a sudden, the guards outside were dead. No one knew what had happened. You are free. Go back to where you were captured from. Chapter 772. Tianyun personally came to rescue them and spread the word that he was a companion of the mermaid race. He did this to pave the way for the mermaid race and build up their reputation. This way, more people would be willing to join the mermaid race, and there would not be too much rejection. All of them were extremely grateful. If Tianyun did not come to rescue them, they would definitely be eaten. Their favorability immediately skyrocketed. After they got out, they would definitely spread the news of what happened here. The mermaid beside him proved that they were indeed in cahoots with each other, which could serve as a proof. The mermaid did not even know what had happened before she was dragged over. After Tianyun sent the mermaid out, he said, "When you go back, remember to tell Princess Blue that the situation here is over." It seems that there is no need for that. He looked up and saw that it was Lan Qingling who was swimming over quickly. Who else could it be? He didn't expect that this little lass would secretly follow him. She was a princess, but she was putting herself in danger. It was really irrational. Princess! When the mermaid saw Lan Qingling coming over, her eyes immediately widened. "Little you, this is great. You are fine." Lan Qingling swam over excitedly and hugged her. "Yes, I am fine. If it was not for this benefactor who saved me, I would have been eaten up." Surviving a disaster made her cry. How could she not be frightened when she encountered such a thing at such a young age? He is the young master of our mermaid race. Lan Qingling smiled and looked over at Tianyun, but Tianyun reached out and knocked her on the head. "Why did you come here? Don't you know that it is dangerous here?" Tianyun glared at her. The future of the mermaid race depended on her. "I just came for a stroll. What if the young master is in danger?" Lan Qingling rubbed her head and smiled embarrassedly. "I am fine now. I will hide far away and just watch from afar. But the young master is really amazing. He really took over this place. All right, there's no need to say anything more. Etienne felt warmth in his heart. For her to care about him, it definitely made him happy. Now I will give you a mission, and that is to move this heaven-ascending altar out and drag it back to its original place. Do you have any ideas? The heaven-ascending divine altar was so big, it was impossible for him to do it alone, and he couldn't change his size either. It was truly a headache. If he didn't move it back, the heaven-ascending god altar's teleportation array would be useless. Young master, this matter is very simple. We just need to find a few sea whales, and we can drag this heaven ascension divine altar away. Back then, the Scarlet Demon clan relied on the sea whale to drag it away. As long as we don't need to escape, we can find the sea whale to drag the heaven ascension altar away. Lan Qingling patted her chest and said, "Just leave this matter to us. There won't be a problem. As long as you tell us where it is, we will definitely drag it there for you." Etienne's eyes lit up and said with a smile, "Very good, then I will leave this matter to you. Just drag this heaven-ascending divine altar to Devil Cloud Island. If anyone disturbs you, kill without mercy." At the end of his words, his eyes were extremely cold. Many cultivators wanted to capture the Mermaid clan in order to sell them for a good price. If they passed by, they would definitely rush down to hunt. But don't worry, even if you don't make a move, this heaven-ascending divine altar will protect you. Etienne smiled. Later, he will give the order to protect the Mermaid clan. Whoever hurts them, he will take the initiative to attack. They can also hide in it and will not be attacked. No problem. I guarantee that this matter will be done well. Lan Qingling felt that there was something to do and immediately became excited. She just wanted to do something for Etienne. She wanted to repay Etienne. It was that simple. She had no other thoughts. Very good. Now I will leave this matter to you. I have to kill my way to their lair and behead all the evil spirit race. A cold light flashed in the depth of his eyes, and his killing intent surged. "Young master, do you know where their lair is?" Lan Qingling exclaimed. They had no idea where their lair was. "Of course I know. Otherwise, how could I become your young master?" Etienne flicked his finger, and two figures appeared behind him. One was the Water Dragon Emperor. The other was the evil spirit race's Spirit King stage powerhouse. The Water Dragon Emperor was not clear, but the evil spirit race's Spirit King stage powerhouse was much stronger than Cloud-chasing Demon Master, so he definitely knew where the evil spirit race's Spirit King stage powerhouse was. Both of them were under his control, so finding their lair was really not difficult. After that, Etienne quickly took the two of them to the hidden lair of the evil spirit race, and at the same time, he dug out everything about them. The Water Dragon Emperor wanted to ask all the forces that colluded with the evil spirit race. The evil spirit race's task was simple. He just wanted to know the details of their plan and the location of their lair. The two of them couldn't struggle, so they could only answer honestly, which made them feel terrified. "Water Dragon Emperor, I didn't expect you to be so courageous. Don't you know that once the evil spirit race breaks out, the entire mortal world will be ruled by them?" Etienne's eyes were full of killing intent. I don't know. After the Water Dragon Emperor regained his ability to speak, he immediately struggled and said, "Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, please let me go. I was blinded by greed. Blinded by greed. You want to capture my people to threaten me. Blinded by greed. You want the mortal world to be ruled by the evil spirit race?" Etienne sneered and said, "Then I will also be blinded by greed, and I will let you fight the evil spirit race, and finally sacrifice yourself there. I'm very optimistic about you." Aye. The Water Dragon Emperor was about to cry. When he recognized Etienne, he was scared out of his wits, and the key point was that he couldn't move. This time, he finally knew how powerful Etienne was, or rather, very powerful. He could easily control them. As for the other two evil spirit race powerhouses, he didn't even bother to let them speak. He already asked everything he needed to know, and there was nothing more to say to these garbage. I really didn't expect that the remaining forces of the evil spirit race would be so strong. There are 5 Saint King stage powerhouses, which is much stronger than ordinary divine nations. Tianyin asked about the general information. Including Tsang Yun and Tianyin, there were 5 Saint King stage powerhouses, and they were all in the late stage. To be able to cultivate to this level, it meant that they must have devoured many lives to achieve this level of power. Chapter 773. Under the guidance of the evil spirit race's powerhouse, they have been madly twisting and turning, but no matter how many twists and turns, they are mainly underground. It turned out that the underground abyss was already quite deep, but they didn't expect that there was a passage leading to a deeper area. If their cultivation is too low, they really can't even go down, and the deeper they go, the colder it gets. Without a certain level of cultivation, they really can't go down. This place is really hidden. The deeper we go, the weaker the suppression power of the heaven-creating divine king. Tianyin roughly knows why they can escape the suppression. The heaven-creating divine king is a divine king, but he is not strong enough to control the power of all areas. It is impossible to cover every corner. The depths of the sea is the best proof, so they can survive and hide. I heard that you have a treasure that can avoid this suppression. What kind of treasure is it? Tianyin turned his head and asked the evil spirit race's powerhouse. It is a treasure left by our ancestors called the heaven-devouring divine treasure. It belongs to the level of a mid-rank divine tool. As long as you release this treasure, you can avoid all kinds of laws and even the detection of powerhouses. The evil spirit race's powerhouse said truthfully, avoid the detection of powerhouses. Could it be? Tianyin's heart sank. He roughly knew why the primitive evil spirit race still exists. It was not completely destroyed. The heaven-creating divine king and the others searched inside and out. But with such a treasure, can't they easily hide? It seems that you survived a lot because of this treasure, right? Tianyin asked. Yes, the heaven-creating divine king and the others joined forces to search for our existence. Because of this treasure, they can escape the disaster. It's just that the power released later made us not dare to go out. Once we go out, we will be attacked. The evil spirit race's powerhouse told the truth. Tianyin nodded. For a normal cultivator, it is just to suppress their cultivation and force them to leave this area. For the evil spirit race, it is the power of heaven's punishment. This is equivalent to being stared at by countless pairs of eyes in the sky. Once discovered, the evil spirit race will immediately be killed. This kind of power, even the evil spirit race at the Saint King stage would be afraid of it. Logically speaking, with this treasure, you should be able to send some of your experts out. Tianyin frowned and asked, we are worried that there are still divine king-level existences outside, so we do not dare to casually go out. Once we are discovered, our most primitive existence will be destroyed. The evil spirit race said. Tianyin frowned. Only a few mixed-blood evil spirit races were able to leave this area without being suppressed. As for these primitive experts, they would definitely die if they went out. In the heaven realm or the netherworld, the suppression wasn't as strong. It wasn't that they didn't want to do so, but that it was more difficult to set up these powers in different regions. It wasn't that easy to set them up. The reason the mortal realm was able to set up rule power was largely because it was relatively small and weak. It was not as huge as the other two regions. Only then would it be easier and less difficult to control. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called the mortal realm. It was equivalent to a mortal body. There was no absolute power here. No matter what, this time the remnants of the mortal realm will definitely die. Tianyin's eyes turned cold. There was a bit of anger and unwillingness in the eyes of the evil spirit race's expert, but he couldn't resist and could only lead Tianyin to the secret area. As they continued to go deeper, the surroundings became colder and colder, and even a familiar feeling emerged, heavenly fire. There is a familiar feeling of heavenly fire here. It is very likely that there are countless heavenly fire below, and they rely on heavenly fire to cultivate. The physique of the evil spirit race is originally cold, so it is not surprising that they use heavenly fire to cultivate. You also devour heavenly fire? Tianyin asked again. Yes, devouring heavenly fire is helpful for our cultivation. It can also suppress the yang qi that emerges when we absorb other life forms. The evil spirit races, experts said. Sure enough, immortal fire is their absolute nemesis. As long as they use immortal fire, their resistance will be greatly reduced. Etianyan feels that the reason why they prioritized eradicating the Phoenix race is not because the Phoenix race's bloodline is amazing, but because they don't want the existence of the Phoenix race to threaten them. A lot of information gradually surfaced, and many things can be traced, causing people's heart to tremble. Very good. The corner of Etianyan's mouth hooked into a trace of a sneer. No matter what, the remnants of the mortal realm will be eradicated today. After continuing to go deeper for half an hour, they have already reached the bottom, and the heavenly Een fire has begun to appear all around, burning in the water, freezing the surrounding environment. There's a large piece of ice here. It is bone-piercing cold. It is obvious that this passage was deliberately dug in order to be more hidden. The deeper the better. When preparing to approach, Etianyan's eyes narrowed. There is a thick layer of black barrier in front of him, and the appraisal eye immediately showed detailed information. Heaven-devouring divine artifact. Mid-rank divine artifact can devour the power of heaven and earth, and can even avoid the power of god-kings. The heaven-devouring divine artifact can not only devour the power of heaven and earth, but also the power of all life, turning it into its own. At the same time, it can transform into a thick shield, which can resist the fatal attacks of ordinary god-kings. It can also resist the attacks of god-kings. This mid-rank divine artifact is really powerful. Etianyan narrowed his eyes. The gap between a low-rank divine artifact and a mid-rank divine artifact is amazing. It is like comparing an ordinary iron to a divine artifact. What if it is a high-rank divine artifact? He has not seen a high-rank divine artifact yet. If there is a high-rank divine artifact, wouldn't it be equivalent to an existence that can destroy the heavens and extinguish the earth? He looked at the shield. It can resist the fatal attacks of a god-king, but it can only resist 1 or 2 attacks. It does not mean that it can resist continuous attacks. This thing is not that fierce. Even if it can, it needs an astonishing amount of energy to maintain. It is simply a pipe dream for a few Saint King stage powerhouses to resist the attacks of a God King stage powerhouse by relying on a treasure. If he were to attack, he would probably need to attack a few more times before he could break through the defense of this shield. Etianyan glanced at the evil spirit race powerhouse next to him. If he is here, there is no need to break the shield. Spirit King stage powerhouses often come and go to this area, mainly to provide more cultivators as food. Therefore, relying on the evil spirit race powerhouse, it is very easy to enter. Your treasure is very good, but I will have to rely on you to enter. Work hard. Etianyan reached out and patted the evil spirit race powerhouse on the shoulder. Chapter 774. The evil spirit race ranker took the lead and flew over. The water dragon emperor was dragged over by him and hid at the side. The evil spirit race ranker definitely could not bring outsiders in, no matter who it was. Thus, in order to make the other party relax their vigilance, the water dragon emperor definitely could not go over with them. Etianyan hid at the side and controlled the evil spirit race ranker to fly over and open the barrier. Just as the evil spirit race ranker flew over, a low voice sounded out from inside. You're back so soon. Have you settled the matters at the Heaven Ascension Divine Altar? A low voice sounded. Yes, it's almost done. I'm here to offer you a fresh tribute. The evil spirit race ranker said respectfully. Fresh tribute? Didn't I already deliver it before? Even though he said that, the barrier still quickly opened, revealing a hole for the evil spirit race ranker to enter. Taking advantage of this moment, Etianyan's figure swept past the barrier in one fell swoop. He didn't even need to hide and directly charged in. It could be said that he was extremely bold. Just as he charged in, he saw a huge palace built inside, surrounded by heavenly Een fire. From here, the palace seemed to be in the middle of the heavenly Een fire. The heavenly Een fire was constantly being absorbed by the palace, as if it was being consumed bit by bit. Other than that, there was nothing special about it. It was just a huge palace that looked incomparably eerie. The Water Dragon Emperor charged in along with him. He definitely wanted the Water Dragon Emperor to come in. It was no problem for him to be alone, but he wanted the Water Dragon Emperor to fight fiercely and then die here. It was equivalent to giving the Water Dragon Emperor a punishment. Human race? A roar immediately came from inside the palace. Yutsong, what's going on with you? Why did you bring 2 humans in? If they were tributes, they would definitely be tied up. Now that they were not tied up, coupled with their aura, it was obvious that they were not normal tributes. Tianyun could not be bothered with him. He brought his men and charged into the palace without any obstruction. Their defense was the heaven-devouring divine treasure outside, which was more effective than any treasure or divine rune. Once it was broken, they wouldn't have any defenses to speak of, and they would be able to easily kill their way in. When he stepped into the palace, the scene that greeted his eyes caused Etienne's heart to burn with rage. There were only children here, and they were all girls in their teens. The key was that some of their bellies were big, which meant that they were pregnant, and it was all caused by these beasts. In addition to these children, there was also a pile of bones on the side. At a glance, it was obvious that they were the bones of children. It was obvious that those who could not conceive the evil spirit race's children would definitely be devoured. Such a vicious evil spirit race caused the anger in Etienne's heart to soar to the sky. He stared straight at the 3 evil spirit races at the front with a strong killing intent. He was still holding a child in his hand, but he had already been half-eaten and was on the verge of death. The other 2 were lying in the pool of blood. It was unknown how many children's blood had gathered to form them. The appearance of Etienne and the Water Dragon Emperor made the 3 evil spirit race old ancestors stand up one after another. They looked at Etienne and the Water Dragon Emperor indifferently. Their eyes were full of dissatisfaction, but they did not panic at all. For them, this was their territory, and there was no need to worry about Etienne running away. The shield outside had been closed again, so there was no problem. In addition, they had absolute confidence in their own strength. All 3 of them were Saint King stage powerhouses, and their cultivation was at the 8th or 9th layer. The strongest one was at the peak of the Saint King stage, and was about to enter the God King stage. Hey, he actually has the bloodline of the heaven-creating divine king? They sat up in surprise and looked up and down at Etienne. One of them smiled and said, Yutsong, the tribute you brought back is really good. Although I hate the descendants of the king of the heavens very much, I still like eating their descendants. Yes. If we can go out, we will definitely go to the heaven world and eat all the descendants of the king of the heavens. We have eaten most of the descendants of the heaven-creating divine king, right? Evil Sky Soul smiled and couldn't help licking his lips, looking at Etienne with eyes full of desire. It was not that Etienne was very tempting, but they wanted to eat the descendants of the king of the heavens to vent their hatred. What about the other one? He doesn't have any bloodline. He is just an ordinary human, but his cultivation is not bad, so he can eat whatever he wants. Evil Sky Soul looked at the Water Dragon Emperor. Devouring masters with good cultivation was also beneficial to them. The 3 of them really did not see the anger in Etienne's eyes. They had been thinking about who to eat first, or who to eat first. Activate Crazy Damage Mode. Activate the full power of the Evil Spirits set. Activate the full power of the Ancient Desolate set. Activate the power of the Dragon God Bloodline. Activate the power of the Phoenix Bloodline. Almost all of his power was activated in an instant, and with a bang, a terrifying power soared into the sky, penetrating the palace above in one fell swoop, and hit the shield in the sky, continuously hitting the thick shield. The terrifying power swept around, causing the 3 evil spirit race powerhouses to jump in fright. All 6 of their arms waved quickly holding their weapons in their hands, and looked at Etienne vigilantly. What kind of power is this? They were all shocked. Previously, they felt that Etienne's aura was relatively ordinary, and they thought that his cultivation was relatively low, but now it seemed that they were very wrong. It was not that Etienne's cultivation was too low, but that his power was far beyond them, so they could not clearly sense it. The huge evil spirits descended in this palace just like that. It was more like a demon than them. But even if it was a demon, Etianyin would not do such a disgusting thing. Looking at the piles of corpses, as well as the girls of many races lying on the side, everything was so disgusting, it made him extremely angry. No wonder there were other races of evil spirit race. It turned out that this group of beasts forced them to reproduce for themselves. Boom! Etianyin stepped on the ground and rushed forward. The ancient desolate set instantly erupted with amazing speed. Combined with the power of the Phoenix bloodline, his speed suddenly exploded. Shao was the strongest peak Saint King stage powerhouse among them, and most they could only see an afterimage. In the next moment, he appeared in front of Evil Jade Spirit, who was eating a child before, and the first one he killed was Evil Jade Spirit. Oem! An extreme sword light flashed in front of them, and before Evil Jade Spirit could understand what was going on, bang! All of his arms and legs were cut off, and at the same time, black flames madly burned his body. First one. Finish him. Etianyan's voice was much colder than the heavenly Een fire on the side. Chapter 775. Etianyan didn't kill Evil Jade Soul. He just cut off all his limbs and used the immortal fire to devour and burn them bit by bit. In this way, even if their regenerative ability was extremely strong, they couldn't easily recover. Under a little bit of burning, even if they could resist, it would be difficult for their limbs to recover. Now, it should be said that they all had 8 limbs now. Plus the 4 extra arms that grew later, they had 6 arms. This was a symbol of extreme strength. However, such a symbol of strength was nothing but a pile of trash to him. Before, when the heavenly netherworld Holy King had reached the peak Saint King level, he was only at the Saint King stage, but he was still able to suppress the heavenly netherworld Holy King. Now he was much stronger than before, reaching the 5th layer of the Saint King stage, and with the support of the ancient desolate set, he could easily crush everything. He was invincible under the God King stage. No one could resist his suppression. From the beginning, he didn't care about the 3 people in front of him. Even if a God King stage powerhouse came, he was confident that he could fight them. Kill! As expected of an old ancestor-level character, they instantly controlled the heaven-devouring divine treasure to envelop them, without the slightest panic in their hearts. After all, there was no point in panicking, and it wouldn't help them avoid the crisis. The power of the Saint King stage peak erupted, and the heaven-devouring divine treasure shrouded Etianyin completely. They wanted to completely seal Etianyin inside and suck him dry. But before they could do anything, Etianyan's figure had already disappeared. The 2 of them only saw a flash of black sword light, and immediately felt a chill all over their body. The next moment, they lost all feeling in their limbs, and all they could feel was the severe pain that constantly spread throughout their bodies. In addition, there was also the terrifying immortal fire nibbling away at their bodies bit by bit, burning them at a slow pace. At this pace, it would take at least a few days to completely burn them to death. If they continued to frantically restore their bodies, then the burning process would definitely last a little longer, and there was even a possibility that they would be extinguished. The immortal fire was not really indestructible. It just burned for a long time, and if there was enough power to suppress the immortal fire, it would still be extinguished. Haha, in the end, he was still caught by us. His strength is good, but so what? Didn't we catch him? Suck him dry. I never thought that there would be such an expert in the mortal world, as expected of the descendant of the King of the Heavens. Isn't this power a little too terrifying? They fell to the ground, their bodies in extreme pain, but when they saw Etianyin inside the heaven-devouring divine treasure, they all revealed mocking smiles. As long as one was trapped in the heaven-devouring divine treasure, as long as one wasn't a God King stage expert, they would definitely be sucked dry. The Water Dragon Emperor and the evil spirit race powerhouses who were captured were overjoyed. If Etianyin died, wouldn't they regain their freedom? There was no need to describe the feeling of being controlled all the time. It was absolutely unforgettable. It would have been fine if they had been controlled and could not remember anything. However, their consciousness was very clear, and they could even know his every move. Who did you say you caught? A ghostly voice sounded from their side. making them turn their heads in fear. When they saw Etienne standing behind them, they were completely scared out of their wits. The key point was that Etienne was clearly trapped inside the heaven-devouring divine treasure. How could there be someone else outside? Naturally, the one trapped inside was Etienne's doppelganger. At the moment when the other party used the heaven-devouring divine treasure to attack, Etienne instantly created a doppelganger and let them throw their attacks at the doppelganger. He didn't know if he could teleport through, but for safety's sake, he left a doppelganger behind and teleported behind them to watch the good show. In the next moment, before they could recover from their shock, he took out the other two weapons and stabbed them fiercely, nailing them to the ground. Most importantly, he sealed their powers. Even if a Saint King stage powerhouse lost his limbs, he could still use his spiritual power to attack or move. Especially the evil spirit race. Who knows what other abilities they have? He had to make sure that everything was foolproof. He couldn't afford to be careless. Once he was careless, he might die. Although he still had a life, who would be willing to let himself die? 3 divine-level weapons nailed them to the ground. With these divine-level weapons in hand, even if they had amazing strength, they still couldn't lift the suppression of this terrifying power. So many divine-level weapons, when the 3 of them felt that their power was being suppressed, their eyes were filled with despair, which meant that they couldn't resist. Without the support of power, the heaven-devouring divine treasure shrank and returned to a black pearl floating in the air. Etienne stretched out his hand and sucked the black pearl over. The heaven-devouring divine treasure struggled a bit, but without the support of its master, it couldn't escape his suction force. Heaven-devouring divine treasure, mid-grade divine tool. It's really a good treasure. I'll take this thing. It can be used as a defensive treasure. Etienne smiled slightly. This trip was not bad. There were pitifully few mid-grade divine tools. He could easily obtain one here. The 3 of them were angered to the point of vomiting blood. Not only were they easily controlled, they had even had all of their treasures taken away. How could they not be angered to the point of vomiting blood? If you have the ability, kill us. We definitely won't frown. The 3 of them were not afraid at all. There was not a single trace of fear in their eyes. They were not afraid of death at all. To them, if they were discovered, they could die at any time. Especially since they had been hiding here all this time, there was no sense of freedom at all. It was better to die. Kill you? Etienne laughed coldly. That would be too easy on you. I will watch you burn to death here. Burn to death bit by bit. Atone for everyone. And for the people here. His anger had not been extinguished. Many of the girls present had already lost all signs of life. Some were dead, and some were already in despair. However, there were some who were still alive. When they saw the situation, their eyes flickered and tears streamed down their faces. They couldn't speak because their tongues had long since been cut off. Other than crying, there was nothing else they could do. They were breeding tools. What a terrifying evil spirit race. Etienne had already sworn that he would definitely exterminate the evil spirit race, completely erased from the 3 realms. Chapter 776. They're all a bunch of trash, a bunch of ants, taking revenge on us for their sake. Too naive. The weak are prey to the strong. Don't you know this principle? That's right. You humans are really childish. All the weak are trash. Trash that can be casually played with. If they die, then they die. It's their honor that we have taken a fancy to them. Be angry, roar. If you have the ability, then kill us, you trash. They had been mocking Etienne the entire time, and were even teaching him a lesson. In essence, they wanted to provoke Etienne into killing them. They knew that it was impossible for them to survive. If they killed themselves quickly, they could still solve this painful torture. The feeling of being burned by the inextinguishable fire bit by bit was definitely not good. You guys are just trying to anger me so that I can kill you sooner. Etienne said expressionlessly. Don't worry, I just said it. I will watch you burn to death bit by bit, no matter how many days you burn. But now I have a new idea. I will definitely make you suffer for a long time. However, there is one thing you are wrong about. The weak are prey to the strong, but there is one thing you will never understand. and that is the heart. You don't even have a heart, let alone a conscience. Tianyun said indifferently. If I tell you any more, it will all be a bunch of nonsense. After he finished speaking, he took out a treasure. It was the long life ring. When he placed this treasure here, it immediately released a strong recovery energy fluctuation. However, he had adjusted it, so the recovery effect would not be very strong. At most, it would not be more than 3 or 4 times, continuously nourishing the evil spirit race's ancestor. Their severed limbs began to quickly recover, bit by bit, and flesh began to grow. If the recovery speed increased, it would definitely continue to grow flesh. At the same time, Tianyun threw out a few more balls of inextinguishable fire, burning their limbs even more intensely and painfully. Of course, the reason why Tianyun released the long life ring was not to save them, but to let them burn a little longer. This was like an oil lamp that could continue burning without being completely burnt out. What is this thing? It actually increased our recovery speed. I curse you to die a horrible death. Curse you to be completely devoured by our race. Our race will kill you and devour you all. They all let out incomparably painful screams. They were not afraid of death, but the feeling of being constantly burned was incomparably painful. The inextinguishable flame could even affect their souls, nibbling away bit by bit and burning them dry. However, Tianyun wouldn't do that. He wouldn't let them off easily. He would torture them for at least a few months. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to quell the anger in his heart. The other two looked at this scene in horror. Tianyun was clearly a human, but they felt that he was scarier than a demon. If they were in his shoes, they wouldn't be able to endure such torture. Then, Tianyun ignored them. Instead, he turned around and walked towards the girls who were still alive. There were basically all kinds of races. The evil spirit race's idea was very simple. They wanted the evil spirit race to mix with all the races. The children that were born would be immediately nurtured. They needed absolute loyalty and would not change after mixing with other races. From birth, they would be nurtured to be absolute killing tools. Looking at the dozen or so girls tied to the wall, they were all pregnant with their vile spawn. If they weren't pregnant, they would have died a long time ago. It was simply too tragic. However, their gazes towards Tianyun were filled with gratitude. They continuously shed tears and nodded at him to express their gratitude. Most of all, they wanted Tianyun to give them a quick death. They couldn't speak, so they could only use their tears to express themselves. Tianyun took out the longevity necklace and came to their side. With a light wave of his hand, a ray of light entered their bodies. Following that, the vile spawn in their stomachs was completely killed. At the same time, after activating the longevity necklace, the terrifying recovery power started to heal their wounds, and even their tongues. In the eyes of many cultivators, this was a waste. Such an astonishing recovery ability should have been used to heal others. These girls had all been tainted, and their cultivation levels weren't high. Most of them had been crippled, so saving them was useless. However, Tianyun still chose to do so. He only wanted to make himself feel better. They had clearly done nothing wrong, yet they had encountered such a disgusting thing. As he fully activated the healing power, their tongues quickly grew back. Their cultivation was relatively low, so their recovery speed was a little faster. Powerful cultivators recovered a little slower. After all, their physiques were more astonishing, and they needed more energy to recover. Thank you, benefactor. Thank you, benefactor. But there's no need to save me. I don't want to live anymore. When they recovered their ability to speak, this was what most of their true thoughts were. The other was that they wanted to kill the evil spirit race with their own hands. Some of them even thought of committing suicide, wanting to die here. If you want to die, I won't stop you. Tianyun looked at them and said in a deep voice, But do you want to take revenge? Yes. But benefactor, you've already done it for us, and you could do it even better. What they couldn't do was to make the evil spirit race's ancestor feel even more pain. At most, they could finish him off with a single slash, and they could only be greedy for a moment of pleasure. Before they were captured, They were all geniuses with decent talent. The ancestors of the evil spirit race definitely wanted the next generation to have stronger talent, not trash. Therefore, they would definitely capture geniuses to breed descendants. If they weren't geniuses, they wouldn't want them. Now, they were no different from trash. Their cultivation had been crippled, and they had even been tainted. He felt incomparable despair in his heart, and even more so, he wanted to die. Do you know that there are still a lot of evil spirit race in the three realms? We must find them all and kill them all. Only then can we return peace to the three realms. Etianyin said in a deep voice. More importantly, it's to prevent more people from being harmed by them. Even more so, this situation would not have happened. If you want to die, I won't stop you. If you want to take revenge and destroy this race, then stand up. I will give you resources, nurture you, and allow you to become true experts again. This was all Etianyin could do. He definitely did not want them to die like this, as there was no value in dying like this. It was not that he wanted to use them, but that the evil spirit race would not be sad if they died like this. Tong. Chapter 777. Etienne's words let them have a goal, and their loyalty immediately surged. At the same time, a notification sounded in his ears. Ding! Jia Yuling became a loyal divine general, gained 500. 000 EXP, 500. 000 crazy point. Ding! Yu Tianling became a loyal divine general, gained 1 million EXP, 1000. 000 crazy point. Ding! Hui Tianqing became a loyal divine general, gained 800. 000 EXP, 800. 000 crazy point. Ding! One by one, the girls became Etienne's divine generals. This really caught him off guard. He wanted to persuade them not to commit suicide. There was no value in dying like this. Instead, this group of garbage evil spirit race would laugh at them for their cowardice. Just now, they were devalued, so he wanted to create value for them. He wanted to vent his anger on the evil spirit race and destroy this race from the three realms. Only then would they be able to display their value and not die just like that. Ding! Successfully subdued 10 divine generals, gained 1 billion EXP, 1 million crazy point 500. 000 proficiency. At the same time, obtained a divine general summoning token can be used 3 times to summon different number of divine generals. Ding! Successfully subdued 15 divine generals, gained 5 billion EXP, 5 million crazy point, 2 million proficiency. At the same time, obtained a divine general summoning token and divine general invincibility talisman. After use, all divine generals' power will increase tenfold. Defense will increase tenfold. Can be used 3 times. A bunch of rewards popped up crazily, and Etienne almost fainted. 12 girls directly became his divine generals. It was incredible. He just said a few words, and they immediately became loyal to him, willing to do anything for him. Etienne didn't mean it this way. It was too difficult to subdue a divine general. Who would have thought that it would be so easy? We are willing to do anything for Master. Even if we have to die, we will do it immediately. I hope Master doesn't despise us for being dirty. Wait! Etienne interrupted them in a deep voice. After walking back and forth in front of them for a while, he said in a deep voice, "Do you feel that after being defiled, you feel that you are dirty? You feel that you don't even have a chance to approach others?" Yes. We feel that we have been defiled by these disgusting races. Only Master can give us a reason to live. If it wasn't for Etienne's words, they would have committed suicide a long time ago. No, your hearts are very pure, without the slightest bit of impurity. It is undeniable that you have been defiled by a group of beasts, but that is only the body. When your cultivation base breaks through to a profound level, you can even be reborn and have a brand new body. Moreover, this is not voluntary. Your hearts are always the purest. The most important thing was that his heart wasn't tainted. Don't feel inferior at all. You will always be the purest and most beautiful. Etienne's words came from the bottom of his heart. They were all innocent victims. As long as one's heart wasn't tainted, nothing would be a problem. It was this group of trash that deserved to die, not them. Moreover, as he said after breaking through to the Saint King stage, this was indeed possible. Being reborn and changing one's body was akin to having a brand new body. It was just that if they couldn't get rid of the shadow in their hearts, it would be useless even if they were reborn and changed their bodies. After listening to Yi Tianyun's words, they immediately burst into tears. They all despised themselves and were afraid that Yi Tianyun would not come close to them. They had no intention of looking for any Tao companions. They only had one goal, and that was to kill all the evil spirit race. It was just that they were afraid that Yi Tianyun would despise them. But even if he despised them, they would not have the slightest qualification to refute. Even if they despised them, what qualifications did they have to refute? Now Yi Tianyun's words fiercely hit their hearts, causing them to sob uncontrollably. After seeing this, Yi Tianyun shook his head and sighed deeply. In many cases, women were sacrifices, especially female cultivators. If they were caught, they would basically be defiled, and most of them would choose to commit suicide. Because prejudice was always the most terrifying thing. Gossip was a fearful thing. Those who had been defiled were not treated well. They were clearly all victims, and they had not done it willingly, yet they had received such treatment. It was truly chilling. He couldn't care less about the thoughts of others, but on his side, there was no such thing as prejudice. Now I'll give you a mission. That is to gather all the valuable treasures here, and then gather them back here. Yi Tianyun immediately gave them their first mission. With the help of the longevity necklace, they had more or less recovered. Their cultivation had not recovered, but walking was not a problem. Yes, sir. They wiped their tears and immediately ran to other places to search, their eyes filled with hope. They did not ask for anything else now. Other than killing the evil spirit race, their greatest wish was to forever become Yi Tianyun's subordinates and do anything for him. Of course, Yi Tianyun did not need them to do this. He had only done something that was worthy of his conscience. Then he arrived in front of the Water Dragon Emperor, and the evil spirit race experts looked at them coldly and said, I originally wanted you guys to take action, but it seems like there's no need for you guys to take action anymore. In the next moment, he waved his hand, and the two of them were also thrown to the side. They were quickly devoured by the inextinguishable flames. Their outcome was similar to the three ancestors, and they were devoured bit by bit. Yi Tianyun was just that ruthless. Once he was harmed or wanted to harm the people around him, he would be incomparably furious and would definitely be ruthless. The Water Dragon Emperor even wanted to capture his friends to threaten him. After finding out about this, the outcome was already decided. You will die a horrible death. You want to get rid of our evil spirit race? Don't even think about it. That's right. Even if we die, we won't let you off. Once our evil spirit race attacks, it will be the time of your deaths. When they were engulfed by the flames, they still said vicious words. Is there anything new about your words? It's all this nonsense. Yi Tianyun sneered. I will wait here. I will kill as many as you come. At that time, even if you don't come, I will personally kill my way to your door. I will completely eliminate you trash and enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. He had already made up his mind. He would not be at ease until he completely eradicated the evil spirit race's headquarters. The situation in the three realms had already been exposed. It was only a matter of time before they attacked again. Chapter 778. While he was punishing these trash, Yi Tianyun was waiting on the side. Soon, the girls came back and moved all the valuable treasures here. Some were holy artifacts, some were elixirs, and some were martial arts. Master, these things are all here. There was no greed in their eyes. They didn't care about these things at all. Everything they did was for Yi Tianyun. They didn't think for themselves. Plus, they were absolutely loyal, so they wouldn't embezzle anything. If it was other ordinary cultivators, some greedy ones would have already secretly put them in their storage ring. The palace was so big, they didn't think that Yi Tianyun could keep an eye on everyone, so they put them in their storage ring without being discovered. In fact, if Yi Tianyun really wanted to keep an eye on them, he wouldn't feel any pressure. The appraisal eye could cover the entire palace, so their every move could be seen. But for them, Etianyin didn't see if they had hidden anything. This was more of a kind of trust in them. If he didn't even trust them, then he didn't trust them too much. Of course, becoming his divine general meant absolute loyalty, without the slightest bit of selfishness. Take all the treasures here. They will be your starting resources. Distribute them reasonably. The 12 of you can choose the weapons that suit you according to your needs. Etianyin said solemnly. 12's heart shook as they looked at Etianyin in shock. These were all holy artifacts. The worst was a low-rank holy artifact. They could be said to be very precious. And those elixirs, they were all level 4 and above. They had never seen such high-grade treasures in their lives. When they were caught, their cultivation was at most around the spirit core stage, which was not very high. Now that their cultivation was destroyed, they felt a bit uncertain. But now, not only did Etianyin give them a lot of resources, he also gave them a lot of precious weapons. This meant that it wouldn't be difficult for them to cultivate again. Master, aren't these treasures a bit too precious? Even if they didn't have the slightest bit of greed in their hearts, they would still be shocked if it was really given to them. One had to know that in the outside world, people would fight to the death for it. It's not precious. You deserve it, Etianyin said in a deep voice. Later on, I will teach you martial arts that suit you. I hope that you will cultivate well and not waste my efforts. If I find anyone slacking off or giving up, I won't do anything but make the lazy go home obediently and don't stay in my team. Master, we will never be lazy, they shouted in unison. Their voices were sonorous and firm. After this incident, no matter how arrogant and lazy they were in the past, they would change. Very good. Then I'll start teaching martial arts later. Soon, they began to choose weapons that suited them. Some liked to use swords, while others liked to use knives. Everyone had different preferences. However, most people preferred to use swords. Swords were relatively more balanced and not as heavy. Soon after, Etianyin taught the martial arts one by one. He didn't have much, but he had a lot of martial arts. He picked out martial arts that suited them and let them cultivate again. With the help of precious pills, not only would they be able to return to their peak, they would also be able to break through further. Watching them cultivate hard, Etianyin believed that it wouldn't take long for the 12 of them to become a super team that could hunt the evil spirit race. The group of people on the side kept screaming, but their expressions didn't change as they continued to cultivate. Just like that, they continued to cultivate here, as if nothing had happened. If someone were to come in and see this scene, they would definitely be shocked. On one side, someone was being burned, and on the other side, they were cultivating. It was simply too strange. After temporarily getting rid of the remnants here, Etianyin knew that there were still many remnants that had not been eradicated, but he believed that there wouldn't be too many. As long as the old ancestor level died, the remaining evil spirit race cultivators with relatively low cultivation would not be too difficult to eliminate. They stayed here for half a month, and all of them fiercely raised their cultivation. With the help of so many pills, all of them rushed towards the spirit core stage. They already had a foundation, so it wouldn't be too difficult for them to cultivate back again. Thus, in less than half a month, the cultivation of the 12 of them had quickly recovered by more than half. It was truly terrifying. They cultivated like crazy. Hatred could destroy a person, and it could also push a person's potential to the limit. At the same time, those ancestors were burned for an entire half a month. They were not burned to death, but more than half of their bodies were burned. They didn't even have the strength to shout now. Their lives were hanging by a thread, and they couldn't die even if they wanted to. Etianyin wouldn't let them die so easily. He would let them receive this punishment. It's about time. You guys already have the ability to protect yourselves. While you are cultivating, I will refine a batch of necklaces for you. As long as you get close to the evil spirit race, you will immediately release a red light, proving that the other party is the evil spirit race. Etianyin said in a deep voice. At that time, I don't need to say anything. You guys know what to do, right? Previously, he felt that he needed to level up his appraisal eyes in order to find the evil spirit race. After some research, he discovered that after refining a treasure with the blood of the evil spirit race, it would release a red light when it got close to the evil spirit race, indicating that the other party was the evil spirit race. This kind of thing was very useful. It could be given to the experts of the Empire and would be of great help in exterminating the evil spirit race in the mortal realm. This way, even if they were to hide, they would still be discovered. "Thank you, Master." They all excitedly took the necklace, even more excited than when they had obtained the sacred artifact. Right now, what they wanted the most was to exterminate the evil spirit race, but they would immediately face a problem, and that was that they would not be able to tell. If they were to hide themselves, such as the heavenly netherworld divine nations, it would not be easy to tell. Only after revealing their strength would they truly know that they were from the evil spirit race. "Very good. Then I will now hand over your last mission here." Tianyun pointed at the evil spirit race's ancestors who were lying on the ground in pain and said, "Do you want to kill them?" "Yes. It's just that Master's method is even more." They nodded heavily. Even though the evil spirit race had been burned for a long time, they were still unable to quell the anger in their hearts. "It's about time. I'll leave their lives to you to settle and fulfill your final wish," Tianyun said in a deep voice. "Yes, sir." They did not continue to refuse. They wanted to cut them up piece by piece. Soon after, they pounced forward and began to quickly cut down, pulling out their tendons and peeling off their skin. It was absolutely cruel, compared to the suffering they had suffered. What was this? 12 people, huh? Then I'll name them the 12 golden hairpins. The 12 golden hairpins originally symbolized beauty, but what was described here was that under the beauty, there was a heart filled with vengeance. It was like a thorny rose. If one was not careful, they would hurt the person who picked it. Chapter 779. Under the harvest of the 12 of them, 5 people were completely killed, but the skinning process lasted for more than a day. If other cultivators were here, they would definitely be scared to death. What kind of cruel method was this that made a dozen girls willing to do such a thing? They weren't old at all. The oldest was only 15 or 16 years old, and the youngest was 8 or 9 years old. Each of them was like a madman, and they weren't afraid of the blood or the horrible scene. But after they killed the 5 people, they turned their heads and vomited to the side. Then they hugged each other and cried bitterly. They felt that some things had been put down, and some things were a lot easier. Tianyun also got perfect EXP, and it was all superimposed on the system. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to 6th layer Saint King stage. Tianyun successfully broke through again. This time, he used 100 times EXP card to help him break through again. But now, he didn't feel any surprise in his heart, and he felt a bit heavy when he looked at them. The 12 golden hairpins quickly recovered and stood in front of him, bowed deeply, and said, "Thank you, Master." They didn't say anything special, just a simple word of gratitude, and it was enough to express their inner excitement. "From today on, I will give you a code name, and that is the 12 golden hairpins. It represents beauty and danger, and your ultimate goal is to eliminate the evil spirit race from the mortal world. Understand?" Tianyun said solemnly. "Understood." There was a bit of surprise in their eyes. They liked this code name very much. "Very good. Now you can go back to your homes, or go directly to the Heavenly Clouds Empire," Tianyun said indifferently. "I almost forgot to introduce myself to you. I am the great emperor of the Heavenly Clouds Empire." Their beautiful eyes were suddenly filled with shock. They didn't know what Tianyun's true identity was, but no matter what, it didn't matter to them. He was the master they had to follow, who knew that he was the famous Heavenly Clouds Great Emperor. It really shocked them. They didn't expect that the famous Heavenly Clouds Great Emperor was this young man in front of them. It was really shocking. At first, they had thought that it was some old man. At the very least, he wouldn't be too young. Who would have thought that it was a young man who had saved them? There were even rumors in the outside world that the Heavenly Clouds Great Emperor was a debauchee, but now there was no such thing as a rumor. I plan to go back home, and then go to Heavenly Clouds Empire. I'm also planning to go back to my home and talk to my family before going to Heavenly Clouds Empire. I don't have any family left. They were all killed by these bastards. I plan to go to the Heavenly Clouds Empire. More than half of them had lost their families and wanted to return to the Heavenly Clouds Empire. The evil spirit race was simply too ruthless, directly annihilating an entire village and capturing it as food. All right, I'll bring you out of here. With a wave of his hand, Etienne brought them out of the palace. At this time, there was no heavenly fire around the palace. It was completely absorbed by him. Therefore, it was no longer cold here. When he left, he slammed his hand down, and a wave of power exploded above the palace, completely destroying it. The hiding place of the evil spirit race in the mortal world was completely destroyed. In addition to this, the evil spirit race's cultivation base was weak. There were basically no powerful evil spirit race in the mortal world. Most of them were killed by him, so it was impossible for there to be other powerful evil spirit race. The remaining evil spirit race was always a small part, and most of them should stay in the heaven world or the ghost world. The mortal world's conditions were too restrictive, unlike the ghost world and the heaven world. As long as the bloodline of the evil spirit race was thin, no one would notice it. Soon, they returned to the place where the Heaven Ascending Divine altar was. He found that the Heaven Ascending Divine altar was gone. Obviously, Lan Qingling had taken the Heaven Ascending Divine altar away. It had been half a month since the last time, and if they were still here, the efficiency would be too low. When they swam to the surface, Etienne separated those who wanted to go back. Many of them lived in the sea. However, only a small portion of them left, and most of them chose to leave with him. Etienne was not worried that they would never return. They had all become his divine generals, and their loyalty had reached the highest level. It meant that no matter what he did, it would not drop. When he continued to swim forward with them, after swimming for a few hours, they finally saw the huge figure of the Heaven Ascending Divine altar. Looking from afar, one could see 3 gigantic sea whales trying their best to drag the Ascension Divine altar forward. Their speed was neither fast nor slow, and was basically no different from a normal person's running speed. If there were not 3 whales, this thing would not be able to move at all. It was like a city standing here. How could it be easily dragged? After dragging for half a month, they were not even halfway there. It seemed that they would need a month to successfully reach their destination. When they swam over, the guards at the side immediately saw them and looked over vigilantly. When they saw that it was Etienne, they all greeted respectfully, "Young master." Etienne nodded and swam forward with the others. Soon, he saw Lan Qingling supervising the work of the 3 sea whales in the front, trying to make them swim forward. It was really hard work, and the consumption was absolutely shocking. "Young master, you're back." When Lan Qingling saw Etienne return, she immediately swam over. "And it seems that the progress is not bad." Etienne smiled and said, "I will accompany you for the rest of the time, and wait for the Heaven Ascending Divine altar to be dragged back to its original position." He originally thought that it would take a lot of time, but it seemed that there was still plenty of time. When the time came, he still had to set up the formation and stabilize the Heaven Ascending Divine altar. Then, they entered the Heaven Ascending Divine altar and waited for the transportation. Along the way, Etienne constantly refined medicinal pills to replenish the energy of the whales. Dragging this thing was too heavy, and the consumption of spiritual energy was shocking. If they wanted to speed up, they would not be able to do it without medicinal pills. With his help, the speed of their progress increased greatly, and in less than a week, they were already faster than before. "Young master, there are many cultivators outside, and they seem to be from the Empire's forces. They have started to attack us, and they want to stop us." Lan Qingling hurriedly came in from outside and reported. Chapter 780. Etienne knew that there would definitely be people intercepting him. Facing so many mermaids in a palace, how could he not be interested? After he came out of the Heaven Ascending Divine altar, he immediately saw a large group of cultivators blocking in front of him. and many of them were already fighting with the mermaids. The 3 sea whales were intercepted in front of them, constantly resisting attacks as a meat shield. Water Dragon Empire's people? When Tianyun saw the cultivators intercepting outside, he immediately smiled. He was wondering which empire was so arrogant, but it turned out to be the Water Dragon Empire. The Water Dragon Empire happened to be built in the area on the edge of Demon Cloud Island, so they would definitely come here to intercept the situation. As for the cultivators in Demon Cloud City, they were completely on the side. Hurry up, catch these mermaids. They can be sold for a good price. Hey, there's a big palace there. I don't know what treasures are inside, but it looks like it's definitely not bad. Hurry up and catch this sea whale. We must not let it go. When the Great Emperor comes back, he will definitely reward us. All of them seemed to have gone mad as they rushed over, ready to capture all the mermaids. When they just wanted to attack further, a terrifying force suppressed them, and the cultivators who just wanted to hurt them were immediately shocked into a blood mist. The Water Dragon Empire's general behind was stunned. How did the soldiers they sent out die in the blink of an eye? Who gave you the courage to stop my sea whale? Tianyun flew over and glanced at them indifferently. Behind him were the 12 golden hairpins, but now there were only 8 left, and 4 of them had already gone back. They all followed closely behind, and wherever Tianyun went, they would follow. How dare you? How dare you kill one of our people? Do you know which force we belong to? A general swam over and looked at him with killing intent in his eyes. None of them had seen Tianyun before, so they didn't recognize the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor in front of them. At that time, he invited people to congratulate him, but only a few of them. It was impossible for all the great emperors to come with their families to congratulate him. Buzz! At this time, the necklaces on their chests suddenly lit up, which meant that someone in front of them was from the evil spirit race. Their eyes were filled with astonishment at first, but in the blink of an eye, they were filled with killing intent. Tianyun raised his head and saw a few members of the evil spirit race not far away. Their gazes were fixed on Lan Qingling's direction. Some of them were even preparing to leave this place quietly. Undoubtedly, they were planning to report the news. Go! Tianyun gestured with his hand, and the 8 great golden hairpins swam over without hesitation. They gripped their sage-level weapons tightly in their hands and charged forward. Before the other party could react, a sword beam had already pierced through their bodies. Ah! With a scream, they immediately died. After they died, 2 arms suddenly grew out from their backs, completely revealing their true forms. This meant that the ones they had killed were not fake. They were truly evil spirit races. After killing them, the necklace in his bosom immediately stopped shining. The 8 golden hairpins immediately returned to Tianyun's side and waited quietly. I didn't expect you to still dare to attack. If you don't give us an explanation today, no matter what faction you are from, you will all die here. The Water Dragon General was furious. He thought that he would scare them, but he didn't expect that he would immediately attack them. I am from the Heavenly Clouds Empire. Do you want to fight? Tianyun said indifferently. You are from the Heavenly Clouds Empire? The Water Dragon General and the others were startled. After looking at each other, they immediately laughed, just a few people. And you dare say that you are from the Heavenly Clouds Empire? I am the Heavenly Clouds' Great Emperor. Kill them. If the Water Dragon Great Emperor comes back, we won't be able to explain ourselves. Honor guest? Tianyun's eyes narrowed. It seems that the evil spirit race's people that he just killed were sent here to negotiate with the Water Dragon Empire. Originally, I just wanted to kill some of the people in the Water Dragon Empire, but it seems that the entire Water Dragon Empire has become the base camp of the evil spirit race. Tianyun took a step forward, and with a dong sound, a terrifying wave of water surged forward, and the guards who rushed forward were immediately killed. Even the Water Dragon General didn't know what happened, and he was killed by the wave of water. Such terrifying power, they immediately thought of one person, and that was the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor. The young man in front of them was really the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor, but it was too late, and they were quickly killed by the water waves. Keep going. Yun pointed his finger and signaled the mermaid clan to continue on their way. Most of them hadn't seen Yun fight before, so when he did it, they were all shocked. Is this the power of the young master? With just one step in the water, he killed the enemy by relying on the fluctuations of the water waves. With him here, no one can stop the advancement of the heaven-ascending divine altar. The situation here was quickly seen by the cultivators outside. They originally wanted to drink some soup, but when they found a super expert below, they were scared and immediately ran back. As they got closer and closer to the Demon Cloud Island, many people came out of the Demon Cloud Island and looked over. Many people looked at the mermaid clan with greed in their eyes. They all wanted to catch a mermaid so that they could live without worrying about food and clothing. It's a mermaid. I want to go down and catch a mermaid. There's also a sea whale. If you can cut a large piece of sea whale meat, it's also worth a lot of money. Did you see that temple? Isn't that the temple that was dragged away by the sea demons before? Why did they send it back now? It's a bit strange. All of them were shocked, and they didn't know why a large number of mermaid clan would drag the temple here. But no matter what the reason was, they only had eyes for the mermaids. As long as they could catch a mermaid, the price would be at least 1,000,000 spirit stones, which was a lot of money for them. Although it was dangerous in front of them, greed had clouded their minds. Don't make a mistake. If anyone dares to harm the mermaid clan, I'll make sure they die in this sea. Yun flew in the air and looked at them coldly. He could ignore the hunting of sea beasts, but the mermaid clan could be said to be a great hero, and now they were his subordinates, so he absolutely couldn't touch them. Why can't we touch them just because you said so? Who do you think you are? Someone immediately retorted. For them, this was a lot of money. Because I am the heavenly cloud's great emperor. Is this enough? As soon as his voice fell, a terrifying aura gushed out of his body and shrouded the entire Demon Cloud Island, forcing all the cultivators to kneel on the ground. The terrifying aura made them not even have the courage to stand up, and their legs went soft. Chapter 781. Heaven's Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor. He is actually the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor? My God, I missed the opportunity to talk to the Great Emperor. Qian Lang exclaimed on the side. When he saw Yun flying up, he felt that he was very familiar. When they took a closer look, they found that it was the person they saved before, but it was the person who saved them later. Now that he said that he was the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor, it really surprised them. They didn't expect that the person who saved them before was the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor, the idol of most people. Yes, it's really the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor. Lin Xiang was also shocked. Looking at Yun flying in the air in the distance, he didn't know what to say. Some people said that the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor was extremely violent, killing people without blinking an eye, or doing many evil things. After they met, they found that it was not the case at all. The rise of Yun and his domineering attitude made many people have a good impression on him, and they even regarded him as an idol of worship. In this world that worshipped force, it was really admirable to suppress so many empires with such strong power. Some people liked him, but there were certainly people who hated him. Some people hated such arrogant people, thinking that if he was suppressed by a stronger person, then the Heavenly Cloud's empire would definitely collapse. Who knew that after such a long time, not only could no one suppress Yun, but they were also suppressed by him. As long as someone provoked Yun, they would be suppressed. Now, with his tyrannical momentum, he began to establish a huge alliance, which made people wonder if Yun wanted to rule the entire mortal world. This was something that no one could do for a long time. Now that the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor appeared in front of them and released his domineering power, they had to believe that the young man in front of them was the legendary Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor. After he withdrew his aura, he looked at them indifferently to see what reaction they would have. I don't accept this. At this time, a cultivator suddenly stood up. After the aura was withdrawn, they could finally move. After standing up, they pointed at Yun and said angrily, "Even if you were the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor, so what? You said we can't touch the mermaid clan? You are clearly a human. Why would you help the mermaid race? A person stood up and scolded Yun, which surprised many people. Someone really had the guts to stand up and question the heavenly cloud's great emperor. That's right. I'm not convinced either. I know I might die if I say it out loud, but why should the mermaid clan be monopolized by you? Rumor has it that the heavenly cloud's great emperor is a licentious man. I didn't believe it before, but now I do. Could it be that the heavenly cloud's great emperor wants to take over the entire mermaid clan? Let's not talk about the mermaid clan for now. Just the temple alone is enough. He heard that this temple has always been under the heavenly cloud's great emperor's control. Is it reasonable for the heavenly cloud's great emperor to take it for himself? We've worked so hard to stay here for so long, but we haven't earned anything. Instead, you've taken everything as soon as you arrived. Is this fair? Even if I am killed today, I will say it. He told everyone to spread the news about the heavenly cloud's great emperor. He wanted to take everything for himself. We just wanted to cultivate here, but who would have thought that this place would be taken over by someone else? As soon as one person came out, another person came out. One by one, they stood up and pointed at Yun and scolded him. The point was that what they said was quite reasonable. They were not from the same race, so why would he protect another race? Could it be that the rumors were true, that Yun was a lecher? Their words immediately aroused the anger of the crowd. Their hearts were full of unwillingness. They all admitted that the difference in strength was too big, but even so, could he suppress them with his aura? Did he really force them into a corner? When everyone looked at Yun, wanting to see how he would answer, Yun gently raised his hand, and several rays of light pierced through the people who had spoken before. Then there was a big hole in their chest, and they fell directly to the ground, unable to get up. The crowd gasped. As expected of a great emperor, he killed people without hesitation. Many of them wanted to resist, but now it was as if a basin of cold water was poured on them, and they were all chilled from head to toe. How could they still have the courage to stand up? If they followed Yun, they would die. Kill. Kill us all if you have the guts. We are weak, but we all have dignity. Everyone, come with me. We have so many people. I don't believe that we can't snatch a treasure. Snatch the fishman. Snatch the treasure. Yes, there are so many of us. Kill us all. You cold-blooded demon, I heard that you are highly respected, but I think it's bullshit. You are a tyrant, and anyone who disobeys will die. We didn't even provoke him, and now we don't even have a place to live. One by one, they rose up, wanting to maintain their last dignity and fight with Yun. People can die, but they can't lose their dignity. The Empress and the others remained silent. This could easily cause public anger. Killing them all could solve the problem, but if this matter spread to the other continents, then Yun's prestige would collapse. This was undoubtedly making an enemy of the entire mortal realm. No one liked a tyrant, and no one would join a tyrant's faction. In this way, even if a person was very strong, he would still be overthrown in the end. However, they didn't have the right to speak and could only watch from the sidelines, watching how Yun would resolve the chaos here. If he couldn't handle it well, they felt that Yun would probably have a very big problem in terms of management. Yun stretched out a hand and lightly flicked, and a few more beams of light shot out, killing the people who had been shouting just now. This situation shocked many people. It looked like this time, Yun was really planning to use force to suppress people. Yun's figure flashed, and he arrived outside the Demon Cloud City with the 8 great golden hairpins. The group of people was so frightened that they retreated continuously, worried that they would be killed by him. Most people didn't want to die, but the anger in their hearts was already almost uncontrollable. Killing people at the slightest disagreement, they didn't believe that so many people would be killed. Yes, if you have the ability, kill me, you demon. We only asked a few questions, and you want to kill us. I'm not afraid of death. Come and kill me. A youth walked out and said angrily, "To think that I worshipped you, thinking that you were the benevolent great emperor. But now it seems that you are not." As one youth walked out, more people walked out, all of them filled with anger. If they didn't come out, then they wouldn't even have the right to speak. You were bewitched by a group of foreign demons and didn't even know it. Tianyun shook his head and waved his hand to raise the corpses. With a light flick of his hand, these corpses immediately revealed their true bodies. 2 arms grew from their backs, and their bodies had become incomparably black. Clearly, they weren't humans. Chapter 782. What kind of race is this? Why are they disguised as us? When they saw this scene, they were shocked. It looked like a completely different species. How was it a human? It was not even a sea demon. It looked very strange. No matter what they disguised as a human and mixed in with their group, it was definitely not a good idea. At least the sea demons wouldn't mix in with them, let alone associate with them. When the Empress saw this, she was shocked. They didn't expect that the one causing trouble here turned out to be the evil spirit race. They constantly stirred up emotions to make others resist, so that they could ruin Tianyun's reputation. A strong cultivation could suppress everything, but it was impossible to suppress all the cultivators in the mortal world. There would always be a time when they would be overthrown. At that time, assassinations would be everywhere. Even if they were safe, what about their loved ones? This was the result of angering the whole world, and they would definitely be killed. Unless they killed everyone in the world, it would be impossible to stop. Their faces were gloomy. The evil spirit race was indeed the evil spirit race. They were so ruthless. If Tianyun was an extremely impulsive person, he would really kill everyone, and it would not be a good thing to cause public anger. Tianyun wasn't that stupid. After glancing coldly at the crowd, he said in a deep voice, "Go." The 8 golden hairpins couldn't bear it anymore. They immediately disappeared in place with their weapons in hand. Their cultivation was not high, but they all cultivated heaven-grade martial arts. Plus their own talent was not low, and coupled with their sage tools, they were unstoppable. In the blink of an eye, they rushed into the crowd, and soon many people were killed. One after another, screams came from afar. But after they killed them, everyone found that the person lying on the ground was not an ordinary cultivator at all. It was the evil spirit race. No one was killed wrongly. It was definitely the evil spirit race, not the human race. Run! At this time, some people quickly fled to the side, but they fled in different directions. If they all fled in the same direction, they would definitely be caught. Want to leave? Tianyun stretched out his hand and grabbed the void, and the fleeing cultivators were caught back. No matter how they struggled in the air, it was useless. Let me go, you hypocritical heavenly cloud's great emperor. What do you want to do to your own race? Kill innocent people, you tyrant. They were still resisting. They wanted to judge Tianyun as a tyrant, so that other cultivators could help them. However, it was useless. No one else dared to move. The people that the 8 golden hairpins had killed all revealed their true forms. They were all from the evil spirit race, not the human race. This meant that they didn't kill the wrong people. They were really demons. Same race, you think you are worthy to be my race? Tianyun sneered and clenched the void. Bang! Their power was forced out, and 2 black arms emerged from their backs. The evil spirits were born with of evil spirits. They had the power of devouring. They could devour other races and turn them into their own power. This kind of evil power could be sensed if one carefully sensed it. This is not human at all. What kind of race are they? They look so strange. I thought that the heavenly cloud's great emperor killed the same race, but who knew that they are not the same race? What is going on? Why do they sneak in? What is their intention? These guys want to incite us to fight against the heavenly cloud's great emperor. We were almost fooled. Their hearts were cold, and they almost wanted to kill the evil spirit race, but fortunately, they didn't act so impulsively. Tianyun killed the evil spirit race, and made them expose themselves to prove that he didn't kill the wrong people. They are demons from the outside, called evil spirit race. Their ability is very simple. That is to devour all races except their own race. Of course, it is hard to say whether they will devour their own race or not. At least, they can devour any race in the 3 realms and turn them into their own energy. Tianyun's eyes flashed. and he immediately cast the eye of enchantment. Two of them seemed to be bewitched, and their bodies stiffened, standing in the same place. "Tell me your plan, as well as what you've done here. Tell me everything," Etionyan said in a deep voice. "Also, who did you kill, and who did you devour? Tell me one by one." "We plan to sneak in and capture some talented cultivators, and let our race devour them so that we can improve our cultivation. At the same time, we also want to devour the cultivators here to satisfy our appetite and improve our cultivation. I devoured Lu Ming and an 8-year-old child before. The taste was very delicious. I devoured Xin Yu, who had a higher cultivation than me, but that kid didn't have any vigilance against me, so he deserved to be eaten. The two of them told their own situation. As for the others, they didn't say anything, but what they said was already shocking enough. "What happened? You devoured Brother Sin?" One of them shouted angrily. No wonder Brother Sin disappeared. It turned out that he was devoured by a demon like you. He even eats children. What a beast! I didn't expect there to be such a race. They even eat children. My child is gone. All of them were shocked and angry. They didn't expect such a demon to exist. It was completely a demon beast. Demon beasts also eat anything, but the problem was that these guys looked very normal, and they could even speak human language. The most terrifying thing was that they could sneak in and pretend to be human, which was the most terrifying thing. I don't know if you have heard of it, but a long time ago, there was a rumor that a group of demons from outer space invaded, and who resisted it. That was resisted by the heaven-creating divine king in the mortal world. In addition to the heaven-creating divine king, there was also the mermaid race to help. If it weren't for the heaven-creating divine king and the mermaid race, do you think you would still exist in this world and have a stable life? Now, not only do you not repay the kindness, but you also want to capture the mermaid race? I know your hard work, and I also know your efforts, but there are some things that need to be clarified. Who are the enemies? Who are the friends? Whether you are selfish or not, whoever dares to touch a finger of the mermaid race, I will destroy his entire race. What tyrant? What wise monarch? I don't care at all. I only know that you can live here safely now. They have a lot of credit. Even now, you still want to capture them. Where is your conscience? Some people can never be awakened. Etionyan doesn't expect to wake them up completely, but at least some people can know the truth of history. After all, no matter what race, there will be some scum, inferior to beasts. Even if the world is swallowed up, they will not have the slightest thought of coming out to help. He had experienced this kind of people in the heaven realm. Even the 8 great divine nations were a bunch of trash. He did this because he believed that there are still many people willing to unite, willing to give everything, their blood, their efforts, and even their lives. He obtained the memory of the King of the Heavens. At that time, in addition to the mermaid race, many cultivators sacrificed themselves and gave everything. Now, they were about to usher in the terrible dark days. He could feel that it would not be too short. Chapter 783. Everyone in the Demon Cloud City did not speak. They all stood in silence, and no one knew what they were thinking. I don't know what you were thinking, but you all saw the situation just now. This evil spirit race is quietly hiding beside us, crazily devouring our own race. To be honest, there are many of these evil spirit race in the mortal realm. I don't know how many there are. There may be a companion who looks good, but in fact, he secretly wants to devour you. When Etionyan said this, they all felt a chill in their hearts, feeling extremely terrified. Although there have been fights between cultivators, if there is no problem, they will not kill each other. Most of them live in harmony and do not often fight and kill. They often go to kill demon beasts together. After all, in the mortal realm, the number of demon beasts is also astonishing. Or they come to the sea to kill some sea beasts. There are countless sea beasts here, and they can't be killed. Not only that, these evil spirit race may also come from the outside world, or from the heavenly realm and the netherworld. These are all possible. Etionyan's words are not alarmist, but true. There are at least tens of thousands of cultivators in the Demon Cloud City. If he wanted to, he could easily kill them all, as if he was stepping on a group of ants. But now he is trying his best to explain it. The reason is very simple. He wants so many people to spread the news. Cultivators from all over the Demon Cloud City have gathered in the Demon Cloud City. They may be from the Water Dragon Empire, the Heaven Primordial Empire, or other empires. Basically, they were all cultivators from different empires. After they left this area, they would spread the news of what had happened here, playing an absolute role in spreading the news. They have all seen the evil spirit race, so they can say how terrifying it is. If he said that demons would come in during the alliance, who would believe it? It is better to say that demon beasts are attacking. Most people will not believe things that they have not seen before. There are so many people here, so it is more credible to say it out. I ask you now, are you willing to resist these demons? Are you willing to use your own life to resist these foreign demons? Onion said solemnly, whether you are willing or not, I am willing to use my life to kill all the invading fiendish demons. The reason is very simple. It is not to protect you, but to protect my family, to protect my friends. Are you willing to do this? Onion looked at them with a burning gaze. He was speaking the truth. Who said he was doing it for the sake of the world? This was simply a joke, a fart. Most of it was nonsense. Under his burning gaze, someone quickly stood up and shouted, I'm willing. My friend has been missing for a long time. He might have been eaten by these demons. Me too. I just want to protect my family and myself. I'm willing to kill these demons. Me too. Kill all these bastards. Kill all these trash. All of them were willing to step forward. Their deafening roars resounded throughout the entire sea region. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor. Can we join the Heavenly Cloud's empire? I want to serve the Heavenly Cloud's empire. Someone suddenly asked this question, and many people had the same thought in their hearts. Etienne's behavior made them admire him even more. How could they not want to join? Yes, there is no problem at all. Etienne smiled lightly and said, I am very happy to let you join the Heavenly Cloud's empire. The Heavenly Cloud's empire will always welcome you to join us and kill the demons together. Suddenly, everyone cheered. Some were silent, some were disdainful, but most chose to support Etienne. There were all kinds of people in the world, and Etienne couldn't care less. He just needed to manage his own forces. What he could do now was to unite most of the forces in the mortal world. As for those who didn't unite, they could choose to go alone. That's fine. I won't send you off. When the demons came, they would have to bear the responsibility for everything. He asked his men to ally with other empires, but that was only limited to empires. As for the other small forces, if they didn't choose to join, they could do whatever they wanted. The main reason why he chose the empires was that they were powerful enough. There were too many small forces, and it would be a waste of time if he went to talk to them one by one. Therefore, he told his men to go to the Empire Alliance instead of the small forces. The progress wouldn't be too slow, but it definitely wouldn't be fast. But now that the news had spread, he believed that there would be more alliances. Ding, completed achievement Worshipper. Rewarded 1,000 commander points, 1 billion EXP, 100. 000 crazy points. The sudden achievement stunned him. He didn't expect there to be such benefits. He just said a few words, and many people chose to trust him and choose to join him, and he got so many benefits. This was simply too easy to earn. It was just that he needed too many people to worship him in order to have such an effect. It was meaningless to just listen to his name. They needed to worship him in person to have an effect. Commander points were a good thing. He could easily convince so many people not only because he had a good reason, but also because he had a lot of commander points. I told you that young master would do a good job. Lan Qingling clapped her hands. She was very excited and felt quite happy. The Empress nodded. She was worried that Etienne was too young to be able to suppress the anger in his heart. Who knew that everything was done so perfectly? Not only did he suppress many cultivators, but he also made them follow him. Although they didn't like humans, this was their own business. They still didn't want to see Etienne's relationship with the human race. The human race was the largest in the mortal world. If it caused public anger, one could imagine the seriousness of the problem. Therefore, most of them just defended themselves. They didn't dare to go into the city and kill at will. Once they provoke someone strong, they would definitely be finished. After this incident, many people have remembered a very old legend. It was a foreign demon attack, and the heaven-creating divine king brought many strong cultivators to protect them. This thing was thought to be a legend. No one has experienced it who knows whether it is true or not. After most of the people settled down, he continued to move the heaven-ascending divine altar forward, and soon moved back to its original position. Then he quickly carved divine runes on the side and fixed the heaven-ascending divine altar in place. Buzz! A light rose into the sky, representing that the heaven-ascending divine altar returned to its original position, restoring the effect of teleportation. If it was someone else, they wouldn't be able to repair it, but he is different now. With the inheritance of the heaven-creating divine king, he can definitely repair it. Finally, one of my worries has been solved. Now I just need to kill all the evil spirit race in the mortal world. Chapter 784. After stabilizing the Heaven Ascension Divine Altar, the golden light made many people's eyes light up, but since it belonged to Yun, most of them didn't think too much about it. The ones who had the idea before were just the evil spirit race's provocation. Most of them didn't dare to think too much from the beginning. They worked so hard to snatch it back. Why should they share it with them? But the charm of provocation lies in this. So many people are willing to take action, so the original rational people will be tempted. At this time, when Yun came back to the Demon Cloud City and announced to everyone that they could enter the Heaven Ascension Divine Altar to cultivate, it immediately attracted a burst of cheers. They didn't think that Yun would let them in, but who knew that he really let them in, raising their prestige again. There was nothing wrong with letting them in. It was just an empty room, and there were no treasures inside. He intended to let the mortal world's Heaven Ascension Divine Altar be completely open to all cultivators, just like the Heaven Ascension Divine Altar in the Heaven Realm. Anyway, as long as they don't destroy the Heaven Ascension Divine Altar, there will be no problem. He also announced some rules, such as when they can enter the trial and when they can't. At the same time, he also added a new rule, that is, the powerhouses who successfully reach the top can choose to join the Heavenly Cloud's Great Emperor and get focused training. In a sense, it is equivalent to selecting excellent geniuses, and it will allow some rogue cultivators to choose to join them, strengthening the strength of the Heavenly Cloud's empire. Ding! Wanma Empire successfully formed an alliance, gaining 1 billion EXP 10. 000 crazy point 10. 000 proficiency. This is the second empire that successfully formed an alliance, and some empires are still in detailed negotiations. But he believes that after the Demon Cloud City incident, this progress will be accelerated. During this period, he refined a lot of necklaces that can identify the evil spirit race. In fact, this thing is quite simple to refine. He just needs to put a little evil spirit race's blood in it. He killed so many evil spirit race people, and he deliberately extracted a lot of their blood to test, and finally, he was able to make such a necklace. The principle is very simple. As long as the evil spirit race is around, there will be a reaction similar to the feeling of discovering the same race. To put it bluntly, it is to let the blood of the same race find the same race. This necklace is not even a spirit tool. It is like ordinary iron. It has no effect at all. The only effect was to find the evil spirit race. It was that simple. Because of this, he only needed a few materials to make a large batch of necklaces. It was as if he didn't need money, and he could easily make tens of thousands of necklaces. If he were to continue refining for a few more days, he would be able to pile them up into a mountain. The reason he did this was so that he could completely kill all the evil spirit race. It had nothing to do with the main mission. It was all to exterminate all the evil spirit race. It would be too difficult for him to kill them alone. He would need the power of the entire mortal world or the power of all the empires to be able to kill these evil spirit race. While he was trying his best to refine the necklace, the situation of the Demon Cloud City quickly spread to the outside world. After many forces learned about it, they were greatly shocked. They didn't expect such a demon to exist in the Heavenly Cloud's empire, and many empires were scared to ally with the Heavenly Cloud's empire. If there were really demons hiding nearby, how could they not panic? They needed a large number of necklaces to find these evil spirit races. They are not afraid of demon beasts. They can at least recognize them at a glance, but evil spirit race is different. They can easily hide among them like a human. How can they not panic? Ding, Fading Empire successfully formed an alliance. Gained 2 billion EXP. 200,000 crazy point. 200,000 proficiency. Ding, Hawaiian Empire successfully formed an alliance. Gained 5 billion EXP. 150,000 crazy point. 150,000 proficiency. Ding, Chungyun Sect successfully formed an alliance. Gained 50 million EXP. 50,000 crazy point. 10,000 proficiency. Ding. The news of successfully forming an alliance with the Heavenly Clouds Empire began to spread like wildfire, including some small forces. The Heavenly Clouds Empire will definitely not take the initiative to find this alliance. They will only find the Imperial forces, not the small forces. Therefore, the Heavenly Clouds Empire will certainly not refuse these small forces who came to form an alliance. Some of them don't need any benefits. They just want these necklaces. Tianyin refined a batch of necklaces, but it was completely out of supply. In the beginning, he refined 10,000 necklaces a day, but later he refined 20,000 to 30,000 necklaces a day. Fortunately, the necklaces are the most common profound iron, otherwise it would be really terrible. How can there be so many resources to refine so many necklaces? It should be said that each force can only give a few necklaces, no more than that. Now, the only way to get these necklaces is to form an alliance. So many Imperial forces immediately chose to form an alliance. Originally, they were hesitant about why Tianyin formed an alliance, thinking that he wanted to be the alliance master or something. Now, they realized that they were wrong. It turned out that Tianyin wanted to form an alliance to suppress these evil spirit race. Some believe it, and most would rather believe it than not. Some remained silent, but soon it led to another outbreak. Because some forces relied on these necklaces to immediately find the evil spirit race hiding in their own forces, and after killing them, they found out that it was really another race. Suddenly, the voices rose again, and those who were disdainful and didn't believe Tianyin at first, but later on, they rushed to worship Tianyin. Because some forces have long noticed that something is wrong. Why do people always disappear? It turns out that they were swallowed by the evil spirit race. Tianyin can be said to be very busy. He has been refining necklaces, and at the same time, honed his forging level. Unsurprisingly, he easily broke through to the level of Forging Master, and quickly advanced to the level of Forging Grandmaster. The speed is quite amazing. It is rare for him to concentrate on forging necklaces, and the proficiency he gained is amazing. He doesn't need to fight and kill now. He can leave it to the Imperial forces in the mortal world. They have a large number of people, and killing them is more efficient. Not only does it waste time, but it also gives him no experience. After a full month of refining, Tianyin has refined a lot of necklaces. The number can be said to be quite amazing, at least 1 million. Compared to the mortal world, it is a drop in the bucket, but giving each force 100 necklaces is enough. If everyone was given one, wouldn't he go crazy from refining? At least in the tens of billions, the mortal world is smaller than the heaven world, but it still has an amazing number of people. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyin. Successfully broke through to the 7th layer of Saint King stage. Chapter 785. After Tianyin finished refining the necklace, he took the 12 golden hairpins back to the Heavenly Clouds Empire. As for the mermaid race, he arranged for them to stay in the sea. At the same time, he gave them great authority in the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar, allowing them to control most areas of the Heaven Ascending Divine Altar except for him. As for other cultivators, they wouldn't have any thoughts about the mermaid race at all. Regardless of whether the mermaid race was the hero who resisted the demons or not, just Tianyin said that no one would dare to touch them anymore. After all, many cultivators were too lazy to care about such things. They just wanted to live now. The demons were things of the past, and it had nothing to do with them. For this reason, Tianyin had to issue an order. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to protect them. The mermaid race's current situation was relatively weak, and facing so many cultivators, they would always be attacked. After returning to the Heavenly Clouds Empire, Etianyan immediately arranged for the 12 golden hairpins to be the law enforcement hall here, and let Yue and the others teach them well. From now on, they would be the law enforcement team here, specializing in beheading traitors or evil spirit race hiding nearby. At the same time, they could patrol the Alliance Empire at any time, and they had the absolute right to kill. They could kill those who obstructed them, and they could also kill evil spirit race. As long as they obstructed them, they would be killed. As Tianyun's divine generals, they were extremely loyal, so they would definitely be given great power. Of course, Yue and the others weren't divine generals, but they were also absolutely loyal. The difference was that they were Tianyun's friends and confidants, so they couldn't betray him. Their high favorability was enough to explain everything. Tianyan had a very simple way of using people. In addition to their ability, their favorability must be absolutely high. A high favorability meant absolute loyalty, and the higher it went, the more impossible it would go down. They had absolute trust in him, and no matter how many rumors there were outside, they wouldn't believe it. Even if it was true, so what? So, what if they were enemies with the world? It's almost time to return to the underworld. This trip to the underworld was undoubtedly to see the situation of the descendants of the ancient underworld god king. His biggest problem now was to unite the absolute power of the three realms, so that they could work together to resist the terrifying demons. Although he could go in and kill countless demonic beasts to make a breakthrough in his cultivation level, he could not do so. However, the difficulty was slightly higher, as there weren't many monstrous beasts at the Saint King stage, and even Saint King stage powerhouses were few in number. It would be difficult for him to break through in a short period of time. Even if he did, he would not be able to take care of the situation in the three realms. Godly kings were not absolutely invincible. The situation at the beginning was the best proof. 3 godly kings had joined forces to resist, but they had still created such a terrifying, destructive situation. To put it bluntly, a single god king could not take care of the entire 3 realms. Perhaps he would say that it was enough to protect the mortal realm and that the other worlds had nothing to do with him. But the problem was precisely the most serious. If the heaven realm and the underworld were conquered, they would be attacked from the front and back. Once they launched a general attack, they would definitely be destroyed. With Tianyun's strength, he might be able to survive, but what about the others? What about his family and friends? Everything would sink into fear and a sense of helplessness. Unless one was unbelievably powerful and could casually envelop every corner of the 3 realms, it was necessary to establish a powerful force. Therefore, after giving his instructions, he quickly flew to the underworld. During this period, experience points were constantly being transferred to him. If he formed an alliance with a force, he would definitely gain a lot of experience points. If I can form an alliance with the Divine Kingdom, I wonder how much experience points I can gain. Tianyun narrowed his eyes. In the Heaven Realm, he could borrow the power of the Fontian Divine Kingdom to form an alliance with other Divine Kingdoms. The experience points he would gain would definitely be amazing, right? But this plan had to be put on hold for the time being. Without absolute strength, no one would be willing to form an alliance. At the end of the day, he still needed absolute strength to form an alliance. If he did not have absolute strength, even if he formed an alliance, he could only listen to others. No matter what, he planned to go to the underworld to deal with some matters. He was afraid that there would not be much time left. Soon, he arrived at the underworld. The environment here had not changed much. As soon as he arrived, he directly flew to the heavenly netherworld sacred ground. The area where the heavenly netherworld sacred ground was located was naturally not in the area of the heavenly netherworld divine kingdom, but in an extremely remote area of the underworld. It could be said that the heavenly netherworld sacred ground claimed to be the coldest area. If the heavenly netherworld sacred ground said that it was the second coldest, no one would dare to say that it was the coldest. The terrifying cold was enough to instantly turn a spirit core cultivator into an ice sculpture. But it was in this terrible place that the ancient underworld divine king had established his own divine kingdom. It was really incredible. Didn't it mean that his descendants would die here before reaching the spirit core stage? Etienne's eyes flickered. The ancient underworld divine kingdom was probably doomed, because in the ranking outside, there was no trace of the ancient underworld divine kingdom at all. Just like the flying divine kingdom established by the heaven-creating divine king, it had disappeared without a trace. The older generation of the divine kingdom still knew about these divine kingdoms, but most of the younger generation had long since forgotten about these divine kingdoms. At his amazing speed, he still flew for more than half a month. Finally, he arrived at the most remote area. As soon as he arrived, a terrifying cold immediately swept over. It could really quickly freeze the cultivation of those below the spirit core stage. Looking from afar, there was a world of ice and snow in front of him. It was also a world of ice and snow, but the ice and snow here was dozens of times more terrifying than what he saw outside. He could vaguely see the heavenly Een fire floating in the air. Even on the ground, he could see the heavenly Een fire and the netherworld fire that had not evolved from time to time. This could be said to be the birthplace of the netherworld fire. If a cultivator walked here and was touched by the netherworld fire, how could he not be frozen into an ice sculpture? Along the way, he could see a lot of human-shaped ice sculptures and ice sculptures of demonic beasts. Of course, these were not carved by people, but a group of cultivators or demonic beasts who intended to explore this place. In addition, in the sky of the ice and snow, there was a tall tower that pierced the sky, as if it connected the sky and the earth together. The invincible pagoda was shocking to behold. This tower was the ancient underworld divine kingdom. Yes, the ancient underworld divine kingdom was this tower. It was not a huge city, but a tower that pierced the sky, and the top could not be seen at all. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.